Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going. I'm glad to be here. I'm super happy, Price. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk about this a little bit later, but I am so happy that they did not ruin King of the Hill.
Uh,
It's actually good.
I didn't watch it. When did it come
Oh,
out?
oh, it came out Sunday evening. Yep. It's good. I've watched the whole new season that they made and I had a great time, and it feels almost exactly like they just picked up where they left off from the previous seasons. It's a lot of fun, and they poke all sorts of fun at modern society and social media and the dating habits of Zoomers and just all the. I mean, it's all in there. It's great. It's I could not recommend it more if you're especially if you're a have been a fan of King of the Hill before.
I'll tell you what, I'm a casual fan of the show. Basically, I don't watch it every second. Like, when it was on, I didn't watch
Sure.
every episode, I didn't watch it every second, but I did from time to time watch it. So, I've seen enough of it to know that I like it, but I'm not like a diehard fan. I'll watch the new episodes. Do they laugh about stuff that's happening now? Is it kind of does it
I mean,
feel
obviously,
fresh?
with animation, it takes a little while to produce, so, but it's kind of funny because you know that they had to start writing this and they had to, produce it and animate it and everything well before we started to see more of this big cultural shift, that we've seen in the last few months, and it feels very much like it belongs today, right? There's plenty of stuff that's just more like family dynamic stuff that they would have had in the older show. But then there's also some stuff in there, just having a laugh at ridiculous modern society and having a laugh at uh, you know not particularly like just like calling out woke stuff very blatantly, but much like the show always did, like kind of making fun of like the political correctness around everything. Why does it have to be this way? And like, what the hell is that? Right? Like,
Right.
uh, Hank goes into a restroom, or goes into a restaurant, goes up to the restrooms, and on the doors there's those symbols, but they're not male and female. It's not guys and dolls. It's not men and women. Like just sort of looking at them, like I don't know what restroom I'm supposed to go in. And then some guy walks by and he's like, "It's okay, man. They're both all gender." And then he gets back in the car after he's like, "Peggy, are we all gender?" He doesn't understand what the hell it's about. So it's
That's kinda
funny.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I saw in the trailers that there's things that look funny, but
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm real pleased. It was very enjoyable to get back into to see that show again. And like I said, I just kind of sat down and sort of binged the whole thing. All they put up all the episodes at once, which Hulu doesn't usually do. They don't always, dump the whole season, which I thought was at first I was like, "Oh, that's bad. Why would they dump the whole season?" But
why would they dump? It's not a good
I
business decision.
I don't know, but it's good. I think it's gonna be a hit for Hulu. I think it's gonna do really well.
I see. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the truth is, when I saw the commercials actually look good.
Mhm.
So when I saw that, I'm like, hey, it looks like they're going to do something good. It's made by Mike Judge, correct?
Yes, yeah. Much of the original team is back to make
You
the show.
know,
Some of the original writers, Mike Judge, most of the original voice actors. Of course, a couple of them have passed on,
one
since then.
recently,
Yes, the guy who
Peppercorn or
did, yeah, oh, there's a guy who did Red
Peppercorn.
Corn,
What was
yes.
the name?
Guy who did John Redcorn, yeah,
Redcorn.
that was,
Sorry, why did I
and I
call him
can't
Peppercorn? But you know what
yeah.
I meant.
Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head. He passed away, he died in a, uh
Some strange accident. It
yeah,
was
well,
something.
it was an, some sort of encounter with a neighbor, and
Ah,
he
right,
ended up
right. It
getting
was
shot.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, yeah, one of the other actors as well, the original actor that did the voice for Dale, he also, passed away recently.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh well, but it seems like you're saying that they did a good job with the show. When it comes to Mike Judge, he's a guy that I don't underestimate because he always sort of reinvents himself. He did, Beavis and Butthead, but he
Mhm.
also then did Office Space, and that's kind of, Office Space is actually a movie that when it came out, I think people didn't really appreciate it that much, but it became such a cult movie over time. Uh, it's funny, I'm just gonna say this quickly. You know how I saw Office Space? I didn't even hear of the movie, and then one day I was, sailing the high seas, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm talking about something that happened, 20 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, you would never do that today, I know,
I would
you're
never do that
far too
today.
mature.
Even then, I'm not necessarily saying that I did, but there's a rumor that I was sailing the high seas, and I thought that I was about to watch one thing, if you know what I'm saying, and
Mhm.
it ended up that it was suddenly this, meaning I was looking for something completely different, and it happened to there was like a glitch like a glitch in the matrix, and I ended up getting to this movie, and I didn't even know what it was. I was just sitting there watching, I'm like, "What is this?" And then I kept watching it, and I ended up liking it, and I'm like, "Wow, I actually like this movie." And that's it. And since then, I've liked the movie. Then he did Silicon Valley, also really, it's a good show that maybe in the final season or 2, it didn't sustain the level that it was earlier on.
Yeah,
They had to
yeah,
put up with a lot of difficulties on that show. I mean, first of all, they had a guy who was supposed to be like a really big main character on the show, and the actor secretly, had cancer or something and died maybe while they were filming the second season or something like that happened. And I don't even think they knew he was sick. So that kind of left, one storyline kind of scattered. And I always wonder to myself what they would have done if that actor hadn't passed away. And in addition to that, you had TJ Miller. I know that in his private life, he's a weirdo and a crazy guy, but darn it if he wasn't great on that Silicon Valley show.
yep. Yeah, and, Folsom Lockdown over on Rumble mentioned, said, "Don't forget Idiocracy."
Idiocracy, isn't that a movie with,
Yes.
Jason Bateman or something?
So, yeah, Idiocracy the one a lot of people have said rather, heavily predicted a lot of stuff happening in society going forward. So, that one had, the lead was Luke Wilson in
Oh,
that
okay,
one.
sorry, I confused it with something else. Remind me, what
So
happened with Luke
So Luke
Wilson?
Wilson is an incredibly average guy who's in the military, and they are doing an experiment where they're going to try putting someone in suspended animation so that they could, like preserve the greatest minds of of our time, or they could take the best soldiers and they could save them for a time when they're needed. So they put him in this box to, you know, to put him in suspended animation. And he wakes up like 200 years later, and in our time, he was just average. He was just, just an average guy. Unfortunately, he ends up in a time in the future where everyone's gotten incredibly stupid because all the smart people stopped having babies and all the dumb people had way more children. And so he ends up in the future where he's the smartest guy alive, even though he's not really all that smart. And yeah, there's so many memes, all sorts of stuff that has come out of that film.
It sounds familiar, but I feel like I've never watched it, and I don't know
Oh
what
my
I was
goodness.
thinking
Yeah,
about.
you need to watch that one. Yeah.
I will
It's
watch it.
yeah, that's the whole thing with Brondo. It's it's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes. There's a
Again, a dumb anecdote I have to tell you that has nothing to do with it, only mildly. You know how sometimes you meet celebrities and you have, like, a picture with a celebrity?
yes.
Probably the one that I look the most impressive in is one that I have with Luke Wilson. That, like, I feel like if I had, like, a few that I needed to show that I'm, like, the toast of the town, I I have, like, in real life, a picture with Luke Wilson, and it looks fantastic. It looks like I look, like, very important. I have a few photos like that. That's one of them. That's a good one. Just putting that
Yeah.
out
Oh,
there.
no, if you haven't seen Idiocracy, or maybe it's been a little while, you need to revisit that one. That is a great comedy from Mike Judge. Yeah.
I will have to check it out. I can see that, I don't know if I can highlight this, for 99 cents, the dead man sent a pile of poop with a face.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can do something to highlight this wonderful achievement in I don't know what kind of in poop. Uh,
I can't see. I just realized that I'm not seeing any chats in our, green room at all.
what do you mean?
Like, where the chat would be on the side, usually the stream chat's just
Oh,
not
I see
there.
them. I see them all.
Oh, I'm glad you see them because I can't. I've got the other chat windows open so I can just see straight into Rumble and YouTube anyway, so
Yeah,
it's
no, I
not
see
a big
them.
deal.
And the dead man, I'm highlighting because it's difficult for me to bring this up like proper. I'm just gonna highlight this pile of poop with a face thing here. Um, Mike Judge did do a movie with Jason Bateman called Extract. Is that the one that he had like a factory of sorts? There was a factory that he worked at. There was some woman, maybe somebody, a woman worked in that factory. Help me out here. Why do I think that there was a movie?
I've heard of this one, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Joel, the owner of an extract plant, tries to contend with myriad personal and professional problems, such as his unfaithful wife and employees who want to take advantage of him. Yeah, I've never seen that one.
What was what okay, so first of all, I feel good about myself because now I feel like we're even. Not that it's even such a good movie, but at
Yeah,
least I feel like we're even because you knew something and then I knew something and then
I
we
see. Like when you said Jason Bateman, I was like, I think there was a movie with Jason Bateman, but I don't remember it.
I'm wondering to myself, the one with Jason Bateman, who is the woman in the movie? Why do I thought there was a woman, but I'm blanking.
It's Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. Was there another
Kristen Wiig, Mila Kunis,
Mila Kunis?
Beth Grant. Yeah, Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis, because I recall that there was like somebody that was kind of pretty, but now that you say Mila Kunis, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't remember this, but Jason Bateman once made a movie where he was doing naughty things to Elliot Page, even though it was
Yes.
considered inappropriate or something in the
Mhm.
movie. But I vaguely remember something like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that he talks like? Do you think that he thinks about that movie fondly now?
I have no idea.
I wonder because what's strange. His sister, Justine Bateman, she always in recent years seems like more based.
Oh,
Mo
she's become thoroughly based, yes.
Right, but I wonder to myself if he's become based or he's just like, like he was, because he was more kind of towing the Hollywood line. I feel like she broke off from that, and I wonder if he also did and he's just quiet about it, or it's just that they just don't agree on politics.
Yeah, I don't think they agree on politics very much. I think she's gone a very different direction from him and,
Well,
and anyone else, yeah.
she also like I don't know, I would hope that she put aside money during the years that she was more kind of doing stuff. Uh but she has the luxury sort of not, she's not on 70 shows now and doing 70 movies. She's even not directing like 70 shows and movies. So I think that at this juncture of her career, whatever it is that she thinks she can pretty much say. I
Yeah,
don't think she's doing it for attention. I think that really she's just saying what she thinks and she doesn't really care what the fallout will be because it doesn't really matter to her.
yeah.
But I am happy. I thought that in the movie he do something with Mila Kunis? I feel like those were the years where they threw, like, Jason Bateman into situation where there's younger ladies around him that he's inappropriately doing something with or something. I don't know why that was a thing at the time, but I feel like something like that happened.
Who knows?
Well, The Dead Man, that was the biggest spotlight that anybody's ever shed on a 99% poop sticker. So you did that.
Oh, and Deeple 101 over on Rumble wants to know what's a better dystopia, Idiocracy or Demolition Man? Oh, a better
Well, Demolition
dystopia.
Man is good. That's a good movie.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the dystopia from Demolition Man, I think is yeah, I think that is more dystopian in its in in the traditional sense, right? There is a utopia, it's peaceful and everything like that, but there's stuff deep underground, right? There's stuff happening under the surface that's very sinister and dark. So that's much more traditional in terms of a in dystopia.
I see.
Idiocracy is just an apocalypse.
I see. By the way, I don't know if you know this, and this is a bit off topic. First of all, hi, Marla Sharondoff, and hi, Anthony Shaddux. Nice to see you here as well. And Deeple, which I feel, and Tim Hayes. I feel like they're in a few different platforms at the same time. I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know if you saw that I tweeted this, but do you realize that there was, in fact, another attack of a dildo?
No, no.
Did you see this?
I assume when you say attack of a dildo, I have to think WNBA.
The saga continues. So let me show you. Basically, what happened is that the dildo bandit strikes again. I guess there's a guy who's a dildo bandit, and he's throwing dildos. And the funny thing is, they said they arrested the dildo bandit, but then there's another dildo. So now the question is if they've arrested the real dildo bandit or if it's like a
Oh,
copycat.
they got the wrong dildo bandit, or
Yeah,
maybe
y-
the dildo bandit is more than one person price. Maybe it's a conspiracy.
maybe. So I'm just not sure what's going on now. Either they there's more than one bandit. Either they caught the wrong guy. I'm beginning to think, you know, I'm beginning to think that maybe they caught the wrong dildo bandit, or it's a copycat dildo bandit. But in all three attacks, it was a green dildo in all three of them.
Mhm.
Let's see if this thing has sound.
Something just came onto the floor. Fourth here before halftime. Oh, look out. Something just came onto the floor.
Sound isn't very good, but I get the idea.
As the free throw was being.
Let's see if there's a better angle.
Imagine if one of those players tripped over that green dildo. I mean,
I think that green dildo has
what would
probably done
happen?
more positive PR for the WNBA than than anything. That's the
Certainly, certainly more positive PR than any of its ridiculously overprivileged players. Please.
Okay, let's see if this one is better.
Made. Oh, look out. Something just came onto the floor. Got an object that just flew in as the free throw was being made. And it looked like that hit a player too. Oh, look out.
It's kind of funny.
Now we need to go back and Zapruder this, check out what was the angle where the dildo came in towards the court,
They
back
were so
and to the left, back and to the left. Okay, never mind.
No, that's a JFK reference. I
Yes,
get
it
it.
is.
And like in the movie, and then they did that on Seinfeld, which is also good.
Yes, yes.
But what I'll say is that they were so sure they caught the guy. I mean, the truth is, I don't even know how you keep this from happening. Because can you really? What are you gonna do? Put it like a dildo detector? What do you do now?
I mean, let's remember, was it the what hockey team was it? Was it the Red Wings that they had people would come out and throw octopi on or squids onto the court onto the ice? And they kept trying to tell people not to do it, and they kept doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say. But
Yes, it was the Red Wings. Yeah. Or the octopus that people were throwing octopus out onto the ice.
well, I still think
Uh,
this is probably. I'm sure that everybody is making this a bad thing, and it's considered bad. But you know what? I think more people have been talking about the NBA. Uh,
I
th-
mean, yeah.
more
Nobody has anything real to say about the WNBA.
right. But the fact that I think that there's now situations that people are actually watching the game, trying to figure out if somebody's going to throw a dildo. You know what? It doesn't matter for what reason somebody is gonna watch the game, but I just think this whole situation is kind of funny. Somebody did this thing where I keep seeing
Yeah.
this every time there's a dildo. A lot of people do this one that you have, sir, a third dildo was thrown during a WNBA game, and then you have the George Bush meme. Anyhow, I
Uh,
thought it was I thought it was funny.
yeah. Oh man, friggin' WNBA. My God, all those. I'm just so tired of the players coming out being like, "Pay us what you owe us." Just yeah, just tell us how privileged you are. Tell us how you know how what a ridiculous ego you have, right? Like, oh, pay us what you owe us. You know what they owe you? Like negative $200,000 a player. That's how much the league made last year. Like,
Right.
if it weren't for the NBA's forcing, because they they're owned by the same people, so they the NBA basically sells when they have a media package. They're like, okay, well, you want the NBA games, you have to take WNBA games too. And if that weren't the case, no one would carry the WNBA, and no one would care. No one would watch it. They have less than like half the players that the NBA does, less than half the teams. Nobody if it disappeared tomorrow, people would only be wealthier.
I tend to agree with you.
That would be the end of it. Networks wouldn't have to spend money on a show that nobody watches, that gets hardly any ads. Like it's absurd. So we got a couple of we got a couple of super chats over on YouTube.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me share that screen then. Before Bill Burr suddenly became all political, overly political, he actually said very funny things about the WNBA. So, first of all, we have Mur Rockstraw. Request for the goal, Big Bottom by Spinal Tap. I'm not sure, like, I've watched that movie a few times, but I'm not sure I'm on a level where I can sing it. So that'll be a bit difficult. Uh, New reboot, Smokey and the Dildo Bandit. The WNBA has a long time to go and a short time to get there. Yeah,
Do you
that would.
know that song, Price?
I don't know that one either.
You got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Unfortunately, I don't really that's another movie. Spinal Tap I've seen maybe twice in my life. I'm not saying that I don't like it, but it's not one of those movies that I watch every minute. I know some people live by that movie. I was amused by it. I enjoyed it, but I'm a musician, so you'd think I'd love it. I thought it was all right, but it never connected with me in a way that I just want to watch it all day and all night. And Smokey and the Bandit, that's the one with Burt Reynolds and Sally Field.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it maybe once in my life. Now, did did I enjoy it? I recall enjoying it. Can I, recite every line and every bit of music and everything from that movie? No. It's not programmed in my mind in that kind of pop culture way. I remember enjoying it, but I don't know beyond that much to say about it.
Yeah, well, that's
Um,
the lead theme is the Eastbound and Down theme. That's the song that's best known from that movie.
I
Yeah.
see. I did like the show Eastbound and Down, if that makes a difference.
That show was, yeah, it was mostly good. Mostly good. It was
Eastbound and Down, I'll tell you what, the first season knocked it out of the park. It was
Oh, it was amazing. I couldn't like I couldn't have cared less about it, and then someone said, "No, you really have to watch this." And I sat down and I, like, binged the entire season. It was so good. It
so good. I
was
agree with you.
so well done. It's great writing, dialogue, the acting. It was hilarious. That first season was so good.
I had the same situation. That first season was fantastic. The second season was okay. It
Mhm.
wasn't as good as the first one, so it was a bit of a letdown that it wasn't as good as the first, but it was pretty good. Then they had the third season, and the third season is where things kind of went downhill. But I will say that kind of like with Stranger Things, season 4, it seemed like they were just gonna finish the show after season 3, and for some reason, they convinced Danny McBride, HBO, to do one more season, and I thought he was gonna come back and just do something crappy. He came back and did something good. I would say that 4 is probably my 2nd place after season 1. So, season 1's the best, then season 4, then season 2, and then season 3. But 4 really brought it home. Do you remember season 4?
You know what? I don't think I ever came back to the show after season 3.
Oh, man.
So
I
I
went
may have to go, because I think I kind of just drifted off of the show, because I think I watched season 1. Like I said, I know that I binged that one, and I think I watched it just right before season 2, and I came back and I kinda watched season 2 in chunks, and then when I watched season 3, I think I fell off about a third of the way, 2/3 of the way through season 3, and I don't think I came back for season 4, so I may
I
have to go pick that up on, HBO Max.
I haven't watched it in years. I wonder to myself how I would think about it today, but I came wa like, I came with no expectations when I started watching season 4. I thought it would be a complete disaster, and I couldn't believe it. I was j they won me over. They re-won me over after I thought that it was impossible, and that's when I said that I can only think of, Stranger Things that had a similar process, whereas Stranger Things season 1, it's a different genre, but Stranger Things season 1 was fantastic. Season 2 was alright. Season 3 already was really floundering around, and then season 4 suddenly was good again. So there was that, and there was Eastbound and Down. Those are the only cases that I can think that there was, like, a real rebound. Usually, when a show falls off, there's no way to save it.
Yeah, they've just kinda run out of ideas, and, yeah, there's not much you can do at that point.
Nope, that's just the way it is. And you have shark jumping and things like that, but like I said, in the case of Stranger Things, they managed to do a rebound in season 4. I will say, though, they took so much time between season 4 and 5. I understand that if you want sometimes quality, you have to take your time, and I really hope that season 5 of Stranger Things will be quality, but
Mhm.
this is a very long time to wait between seasons, especially when you have children who already are, like, 100 years old. There's a lot I don't know, I don't wanna say anything. Maybe they'll still manage to win me over for that 5th season, but man, is it too long. It's too long, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give that 5th season a fair shake, but yeah, it's been a long, long time. Long wait. It's been a long wait for the next season of One Piece on Netflix. It was supposed to be out already, and now it's not going to be until sometime this next spring. They don't
Uh,
have as young a cast where you have to worry about it, but yeah,
Deeple is asking, what about Picard season 3? Well, I think it's a sensitive subject for the professor because I don't think he liked it.
it
I
was okay.
That's what I think about it. I think that if you compare it to all the other crap that happened on Picard and probably on all of Kurtzman Trek, it's something that is watchable, and I didn't hate watching it. But to be honest, it's such a situation of too little, too late. I mean, sure, I watched it. There were a few moments that I unironically call it fan service, call it whatever you want. But when the cast of the Next Generation was like on Enterprise D or whatever it was, I couldn't not feel something when I saw that. You know what I'm saying? There were things that happened in this thing that did manage, even if it's the member berries or the nostalgia or whatever you want to call it. There were moments here that I did enjoy, but even if I kind of look at it, it's not a masterpiece. There's a few episodes that feel a bit fillery. I also didn't feel that I like it more when Star Trek has isolated stories. I don't love it when it's like a mini series where everything continues. Do you get what I'm saying? It wasn't. It didn't have many self. I don't even think it had one self-contained episode.
No, no. There were definitely things to enjoy in that third season. It did not make up for the first two seasons of atrocities, especially the second season. I still have not watched all of the second season. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of it, and they were so laughably terrible. I couldn't go on. It was this preachy, stupid, just awful show, and I was like, I can't. The fact that they came back for a third season and actually made something that was passable was really surprising, given how terrible the first 2 seasons were of that show. But, there's a reason that the 3rd season that they had so thoroughly destroyed that show and its audience that Alex Kurtzman and all of his people pretty much just ignored what was going on. They were like, "Hey, you. Yeah, you. Just take this 3rd season, just make something. We have to wrap this up, so make one more season." And then they sort of left him alone. And then Terry Matalas made something that was actually sort of tuned towards the fans, which is not what would have been made if Kurtzman had anything to do with it at all.
And the thing is, you'd think that in a proper place, somebody would say, "Okay, this Terry Matalas guy isn't a complete bozo. Why don't we push Kurtzman aside and let this Terry Matalas guy try to do something? Why don't we even just give him an autonomous project where he can do whatever the fuck he wants?" Sorry, Sean. And we just disconnect him from everything else and just let him do one show on his own and do whatever he wants. Instead, it feels like they couldn't get rid of that Matalas guy soon enough.
Mhm.
Like, the exact opposite lesson was learned here. If I didn't know any better, I would think that Alex Kurtzman didn't like that somebody even suggested that Terry Matalas was better at this than he was, and I feel like deep down inside he thought to himself, "I never wanna see that guy again." That's my theory 'cause
Yep.
I don't have any other theory. It was, you could say you like season 3 and you don't like season 3. Out of all of the Kurtzman era Trek, one of the only times that there started from like every week to every week an increase in viewership that I think actually appeared on some Nielsen charts or something on those streaming things. I think the only time you had that kind of momentum is only Picard season 3.
Yep.
Imagine you're sitting around making 70 seasons of the crappiest shows and nobody gives a shit. Sorry, Sean, again. And then at the end, the one guy that you're just like, screw it, this is a disaster, just take it and do something. And he actually does something that's half decent. Uh, it's like Kurtzman, it's like the worst thing that ever happened to him. He needed to unload him quickly, you know?
Yep. It was I think half decent is a great way to put it, Bryce. It was just okay. Some of the episodes were awful. There were a handful that were, really enjoyable. It was mostly just member berries and, story-wise, it was functional. So, it was way better than most of the stuff that has
No, I
been
mean,
made by Kurtzman.
unironically,
I
it
mean
was better than all of Kurtzman's crap. He
oh,
only
no, no question, no
let,
question.
let me put it this way. If let's say there was no Kurtzman and he never made any Star Trek, and for years there wasn't Star Trek, and somebody said, "Hey, this Terry Matalas guy, he did this 8 part, or I don't know how many episodes there were of a sort of a next generation kind of final gathering," I think people would watch it and be very, very supportive of it. You know what I mean? I don't think people would sit and hate on him or get upset. Even if it's mediocre, people would have been like, well, it's all right. I don't think people would have hated on it. I think that once it came after all that Kurtzman stuff, and even with Picard season 1 and 2 looming over it, there was only so much he can do. I'm not saying he's perfect, and I don't know that he can do anything, and I'm not saying everything that he does is great. But I will say this: that I remember seeing some live streams and things and interviews and things that he was on, and I remember him saying that these days for streaming, you're encouraged to leave every episode like in a cliffhanger, so people will continue to press play for the next episode. They want more like personal drama between people, so that they think that that'll help with the arcs and things like that. And when he spoke about that, and I noticed the writing in his episodes, I could tell that those things were things that he inserted in there. And there's also a few episodes that feel very filler. And not only that, they also told him that he couldn't flat out delete everything that happened in season 1 and 2. He could just somehow brush it off. So he did his best within the confines of the parameters that he was given, which is make it like, personal drama, make there be cliffhangers, don't ignore the events of season 1 and 2. And still, he made a show that wasn't terrible. If nothing else, it wasn't terrible. And you know what? He was working, he wasn't the big chief there. He was working with his hands tied behind his back and basically blindfolded, still managed to do something half decent. I wonder if this man, if you ever really gave him the tools to do whatever he thought was right, if he could do something even more than half decent.
Well, we may never know.
At this rate,
We
we'll
may
never
never
know.
know.
It's shocking to me that they haven't. Well, it's not shocking. The same thing with Kathleen Kennedy, and you know what? At this point, it's the same thing with with Kevin Feige as well. That these guys, they have a position and they don't want to leave. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of a situation that you just sit there and you never want to leave. It's the same thing with Bob Iger. It's like, dude, you're already in your 70s. Like, it's not. I don't really know how to explain it. Yes, you could be the president of Disney. Do you really need to be the president forever? Do you need to? Isn't there a point of time where you see that maybe you're not producing such good results and maybe you go? That's
Well,
how
I
it
think
works.
I think all of them are after, some kind of legacy, something that they can be recognized for. That, "Oh, look, see, I did this, and everyone's gonna remember me for having done this." Well, I got news for you, Kevin Feige. At one point, you were being remembered as the guy who created the incredible MCU that ramped its way up for 30 some movies all the way up to Endgame and created this incredible cinematic universe. And now you're remembered as the guy who wouldn't let go and completely destroyed the MCU by filling it full of women, throwing away all of your legacy characters, and bringing in people who had no idea how to write a story. And the MCU will wrap up next year or in 2 years, when both Doomsday and Secret Wars both lose Disney hundreds of millions of dollars and are colossal failures. Then the MCU and maybe Kevin Feige will be finished.
Years too late. It'll be
Years
years
too
too
late.
late. Um, I was actually starting to considering or working on a video. I'm in the early stages, and I don't know if even if I'll do it. I kind of was toying with the idea. I was thinking to myself that after Quantumania, I made a video where I, gave a review of Quantumania, and somewhere towards the end of the video, I just went off on a rant about Kevin Feige. And I was saying in that rant, I mean, I was saying a lot of things that probably weren't very nice. Uh, but regardless of what I was saying, the one thing that my takeaway there is that I said that I thought that he needed to step down, that it was time for him to move on. And I said that for me, Quantumania was like the straw that broke the camel's back. There was enough bad things happening before that, but I feel like after Quantumania, I'm like, this is it. This is your time to step down. Do it now. And that was 2.5 years ago, and nothing good happened in those 2.5 years.
Yeah. We got one film that did really well, and it wasn't Kevin Feige's film. It was a film he didn't want to make.
Are you referring to Deadpool and Wolverine?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
And you had Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was more of a Sony production.
Yeah.
So he basically Sony was like the spearhead for No Way Home, and yeah, and Deadpool and Wolverine. And I also tend to think I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think that with Spider-Man: No Way Home, because it's Sony, he couldn't do his usual activism agenda peddling that he likes. Do you get what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
kind of like when you go out you have to be on your best behavior somewhere. Meaning, if you and I now will be guests, I, I, I I'm trying to think of a situation that what would be a situation where you and I would be on our best behavior?
Someone's funeral? I don't know.
Oh no. Uh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that would cause us even to give a shit enough to behave well somewhere. But let's say somebody invited someone, we're on our best behavior. We can't just do whatever we usually do. Okay, I know what I'm thinking. Let's say we're invited now to like a big stream, okay? That has I don't know, the Gary, the critical drinker. I don't know. Think of a few big names or whatever it is, and then, you know, on that stream, I would say Robot Head, but Robot Head, I could just act like myself. And
Mhm.
then I feel good about that. But I'm saying that let's say there was like a stream with a lot of people, we'd want to be on our best behavior. Although honestly, with those guys, I don't even know if you need to be. That wasn't a good example. Think, I can't think of one. Uh, who would have a stream that we'd want to be on our best behavior?
I
I can't think of one example. This is really annoying me. Anyhow, bottom line is that Kevin Feige couldn't do his usual crap. He had to be on his best behavior.
Mhm.
I'll give you a reverse example, okay?
'Kay.
The song "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." George Harrison, he played guitar, and he thought it would be cool if Eric Clapton came and did a solo. Now, at the time, the Beatles were fighting more than they ever fought. They were in the worst position they ever were. They're barely working together on the tracks, and there's a lot of tension in the studio. And I remember George Harrison saying that once Eric Clapton arrived to jam with them and do the solo, they all started going, doing their best behavior. Suddenly, like it felt like a mom and dad or a married couple that they're in public and they don't want people to think that there's maybe problems with the married couple. So
Sure.
they're sort of on their best behavior. I remember that story that he was kind of saying that suddenly, like the Beatles, all of them put the tension aside and were behaving nicely to kind of give their guest, put him at ease. And this also worked well, I think, with Billy Preston that played with them. I think that they made more of an effort where there's other external people there that they're playing with, because it's kind of embarrassing. That's the word. It's kind of embarrassing that you can't just do your job and you look like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that in some kind of reverse situation, Kevin Feige couldn't sit with the Sony executives, even if he had some kind of involvement. He couldn't suddenly say like, "Hey, what if we brought two women that look like men and they start beating up Spider-Man?" I think that wouldn't have flown. With all due respect to all the weirdos that maybe exist in Sony America, Sony is still a Japanese company, and there's still some Japanese people sitting somewhere that I think that have less patience for this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that They
Yeah,
probably do some woke stuff or whatever, but I think that they do a little bit less of it.
a little bit less.
A little bit less. I there has to be some, like, older, Japanese man somewhere saying, like, "What is this shit?" And, like, you can't sell that to him. He's not gonna do a
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie. Although that Spider-Verse movie was a bit, but maybe they pulled a fast one on them with that, animation, you know? I don't know
Well,
what to tell you.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
Spider-Verse, they shoved a bunch of weird shit in there, no?
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird stuff in
The
there.
first Spider-Verse, I could somehow put up with. The
Yeah, it was
second
alright.
Spider What'd you say?
It was alright. Yeah.
It was alright. And I think that it would have been even more alright if it would have just stayed a one-off. As a kind of one-off thing, it was fine, but of course, they had to make another one. The other one is where they got greedy. Once, like, you have all these, like, BLM flags in a room and all these, like, transformer symbols and things and whatever, it's just like. And also, they started pushing, I don't know, Peter Parker is running around with a robe, and he's, like, nursing a baby and all this stuff is what. And then, like, the woman who's pregnant, there's a Spider Woman who's pregnant on a bicycle, on a bike. I don't know, man. I could already tell that they were shoveling some propaganda there.
Yeah. And well, and you probably have heard that the 3rd film has had huge production issues.
I hope it never gets made. I hope that third one.
It was due to be released over a year ago,
I hope they never release that turd of a movie.
and
I
now yeah, now they're saying sometime in 2027.
Nobody's gonna give a shit about their stupid movie at that point. I barely even remember what the second one was about. They're so dumb. I don't even understand it. I mean, from a business perspective, not that if they released it tomorrow, I don't think I would even care. But uh, for the people that were actually interested in this is the type of thing that you work quickly. I think that you need in a movie. Two years later, another movie, and 2 years later, another movie, and at best, you can have like 6 years where you have this thing.
Yeah. Well,
That's I think the most you could do.
you know why it was so bad, Price? You can see Rebecca Gold is in the chat letting us know.
It was woke. I mean, the thing is that it wasn't the only reason. I mean, when I watched it, I remember thinking to myself, there were some things that were good here, but there were some things that annoyed me. And overall, I think that my review was something like that. It was okay, but not great. But I haven't really ever bothered watching it again. These aren't movies that I felt like watching again. Not the first one and not the second one. It's like, and I'll tell you what. Back in the day when they said, "Oh, there's going to be Miles Morales or whatever," I was one of I was naive and stupid, and I thought, "Oh, well, what's the big deal? Yeah, they're doing a thing." Like, I didn't think much of anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, I'm ashamed to tell you that I was so at this point not even reading comics, and I didn't even know what was happening. That now Vex Electronica is going to say Vex Electronica is going to pop up and say that I always say that I was at Comic Con. I was actually a few times at Comic Con. I wasn't just once, but in any case, I think that this was in 2019 or something. I was at Comic Con in New York, and somebody took a picture with me that was Spider Man, and I didn't realize. I think it was like the Miles Morales version, but I didn't even realize it because I'd never even bothered reading the comic with Miles Morales. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't even say what Miles Morales looked like. I'm like, is this just I thought maybe there was a Spider-Man comic that I wasn't familiar with, and that's the way the person was dressing, but I didn't make the connection that it was even the Miles Morales thing, even though I knew that Miles Morales existed. And at the time, I didn't even care. And even with that first multiverse of Spider-Man movie, whatever the animated one, Across the Universe, what's a Spider-Verse? Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
It's
there
all
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I watched that first one and I didn't mind it. I didn't even think much. Oh, it's Miles Morales. So I didn't really care about anything. But when I look at it now, I have less patience for all of that. I think that part of the problem with the woke era is that stuff that before didn't actually bother me and I didn't care because maybe it was done either in a reasonable amount of moderation and it wasn't just shoved down our throats every second. I think people were just more they didn't have time to dwell on stuff. But after this era, now like I notice everything. I notice every stupid thing, every movie, everything that somebody's bringing out any kind of agenda, I could see it from miles away. That's why when I saw stuff like Fantastic Four and like Superman, there was a lot of people giving those movies passes, saying, "Well, compared to all the shit that they've released, it's a little less shitty." And I said, "No, I don't think. I think it's crappy. Like I'm not gonna cut it some slack now." But
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, coming back to Kevin Feige, yeah, I just don't get how he thinks he's gonna save the MCU when it has just been one disaster after another. What projects have come out this year? This year, we got Captain America: Brave New World, which was a huge box office failure, especially since they spent probably close to $600 million on it. And it didn't even, what did it make, 415 at the box office total?
Yeah.
It was miserable. And then we got Daredevil Born Again, which was middling at best, not great. We got we got Thunderbolts, which was again mid. It wasn't a terrible movie. Wasn't nearly as bad as some of the stuff they've made, but it had a lot of problems and lost money at the box office. We got Ironheart, best comedy of the year, but not really great as far as the MCU is concerned. Then we got Fantastic Four: First Steps, what looks like it is going to lose big at the box office. Maybe not as big as some previous films, but probably going to do a little bit better than Brave New World. Maybe going to be closer to 450, 475, maybe. We'll see what the hold looks like next weekend. But after that, so that's 3 box office failures in the same year. 3 of them just down the toilet. And last year, the only win that they got was Deadpool and Wolverine. And that wasn't even really an MCU movie. that was a farewell to the Fox Marvel universe. So what have we got left this year that comes out that's MCU related? Well, we've got Eyes of Wakanda, which I'm sure is going to make a big splash. And then Wonder Man, where they've race swapped the character and probably changed everything about them too. So
I feel bad. I don't remember the actor that plays Wonder Man, but man, I kind of feel bad for the guy because
yeah,
if that show is anything like Ironheart is, then that guy is gonna get like
yeah.
trampled on by people that
Oh
are
man.
just not.
Well,
It could be like the final note of like of this disaster. He's gonna be like the final note of the entire disaster. If you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like
Uh,
if like the early thing is like Iron Man, and you think of that as the great beginning, that's like how it started. How it's going is going to be Wonder Man, if you know what I mean.
yeah. So at least we know it does sound like everyone recognized that Dominique Thorne was awful. It sounds like she was awful on, when she was on set and nobody liked her. And she was really, really like nasty and had a huge ego and whatever. So maybe that's the last we're ever going to see of Ironheart. I don't know. The actor's name is Yaha Abdul Mateen. That's the actor that's playing Wonder Man. I
That's
don't know.
familiar, that
Never,
name. It's a familiar name, I
not
guess.
familiar to me, but yeah, that's that's who's going to be playing Wonder Man. And I don't even know like what are their plans for this show. I don't. Yeah. So I mean the MCU, for all practical purposes, I've said it for a while, it's dead. The your average moviegoer doesn't care about it. I think that's been proven by the way the box office has gone for Fantastic Four. They tried really hard to try and revitalize it, remake it, try and say, oh, this is the start of a whole new MCU, and this is going to be so, different and everything. And no one really cared. Right now, it's not doing any better at the box office than either of the last two MCU movies. It's just the same people going to see it.
Well,
So,
I have something to say about Dominique Thorne or whatever it is. I've seen people that have gone through that process of what she went through. And it's really bad when you start getting high on your own supply of people just saying a bunch of crap to you. The entertainment industry is a very cruel industry. They're all going to be in your corner telling you all this great stuff, but the second that's not happening, they're all going to jump ship and you're going to be left all alone. Like the harder they rise, the harder they fall, or whatever it is. I don't know how to explain it.
mhm,
And I can tell you that I've seen it before. Uh, I've seen it before with rappers. There was like a rapper that I remember working with, who he had a nice sort of streak that he got some hits in there and he seemingly was doing well, but he was very difficult, and him and his team and everybody were very difficult. And I remember telling people, maybe even a few people that were in his crew, that if he continues to be so difficult right now when he's hot, maybe people will be nicer to him. But when things go a little cold, a lot of times those kind of relationships could be helpful. And I'll explain what I mean. Let's say this Dominique Thorne girl, she tries really hard in this MCU role, and it doesn't do well. Well, maybe she doesn't headline movies and she doesn't star in like leading roles in other shows, but maybe as a guest star somewhere, or if you need like a smaller supporting character or something like that, if you build the right relationships, maybe somebody will still do something nice for you somewhere. Maybe a director, maybe somebody that worked with you, maybe somebody. But if you're just like annoying to everybody, when that time comes and you're going to need to call in a few of those favors, you're not going to have many people to call on. And not only that, it's going to be very difficult even for you to make any kind of comeback because how difficult you were. Do you get what I'm saying?
oh yes.
And really, I don't know what that Dominique Thorne thought that she had going for her. Uh, I'm going to try to choose my words carefully here, Professor. Uh, how do I explain this? There are prettier ladies out there than Dominique Thorne. Is that fair to
Sure.
say?
I think that's fair. Yes.
It's not that, like, you looked at it and you're like, "Man, she's." I'll give you an example. Like, for many years, Tyra Banks was known as that she was very annoying. But, especially in her youth, she was sometimes on shows and stuff. She I can't say she wasn't pretty. I understand that she was an annoying person, but at least she had that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I was just trying to think of somebody who was pretty, but everybody thinks is a kind of bitch. That's what I've
Mhm.
heard. Maybe she's
Yeah.
a wonderful person. I don't know. Okay. The rumor has it that what she is. Maybe it's just a rumor. Maybe she's the loveliest person. I don't know. But you understand what I'm trying to say, correct?
Yes.
Sometimes you have somebody that okay, let's look at J Lo. J Lo for many years has maintained a very positive appearance. Some people say she's difficult, she's not difficult, but you know what? You put her in a movie, she for many years looked, even today, I think that she's maintained herself rather well. She looks good, and if nothing else in the movie, you have some lady doing something. She looks all right. That's something. And I think that Dominique Thorne doesn't quite have that X factor, if you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I guess what I'm saying, Professor, it's a check that she can't cash. It's not like people are like, "Well, she's stunning, so she's a bitch, and we'll let it slide." Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You have to be super
Oh yeah.
hot to be able to pull that one off, and unfortunately, I think that doesn't work. Now, on the other hand, sometimes maybe you can be, like, the best actress in the world. You could be like I don't especially like her even she's not my favorite actress, but I can't say that Meryl Streep is a bad actress, okay?
Mhm.
Uh, if Dominique Thorne had Meryl Streep-like qualities in her acting, you could say, "Well, you know what? She is very annoying, and maybe she isn't the most stunning woman in the world, but she is a really great actress that brings so much to the table." Unfortunately, she didn't really have that either. So then what are you left with? You're left with that she's not such a great actress. She's not stunning. Uh, and then she's also difficult in treating everybody around her like crap. So not sure where you really go from there.
Oh yeah.
Did I speak nicely? This was a diplomatic.
No,
I think.
no,
I
that I
think
think you were very diplomatic
I was
there.
very diplomatic,
Yeah.
Professor. I said this very nicely. I was a very swell guy now.
Yes. There are some other when you were talking about difficult actresses, there were some others that came to mind as well. uh,
Yeah,
Lindsay Lohan, Madonna. I've heard Sharon Stone is incredibly difficult to work with.
maybe she is, but you know what? In her prime, I haven't seen her recently. I
Exact.
don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what she looks like now. Okay, so I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm saying like in the days of Basic Instinct, you hire Sharon Stone, somebody will tell you she's such a bitch, she's so difficult to work with, and the director's gonna be like, yeah, I don't give a shit, just bring her over here. You know what I'm saying? There was that moment where you could act that way. Even that, I'll tell you, it's not a good long term strategy, but somehow she got by. Elizabeth Quinn says that's a life lesson, having been raised by a benevolent narcissist, can vouch that even some narcissists can see value in being nice to get ahead.
Mhm.
I guess Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, that one's a strange one. I've talked before about uh, her rise to fame, and I think that one had more to do with the personal relationships that she set up for herself in the industry. If
Could
you know what
be.
I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, Mariah Carey's definitely one that I've heard.
She went
I've heard
another
about.
route, though. She basically went to one of the top executives of Sony, who was much older than her, and she and I want to make it clear. In the case of Mariah Carey, it wasn't one of those type of Harvey W situations. She, from what I was told over the years, was sort of an active pursuer of that executive, meaning rumor has it, of course, allegedly. What do I know? I don't know what I'm talking about. But allegedly, she zeroed in on the executive that could be her ticket, and that became her husband, even though he was like a million years older than her. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, and really at that point, even if she was a bitch, it really didn't matter. Sorry, Sean, it didn't matter because once you're with like one of the top dogs at Sony or whatever it was, and somehow her album got like the highest priority. People talk about all like that kind of Me Too stuff. Nobody ever mentions that she did that, got the highest priority. Weren't there ladies that actually, maybe worked hard or did something, did everything right, and somebody just said, "Nope, we're pushing you aside. I'm cashing you out, Bob," or whatever that is from RoboCop. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Yeah.
There were other ladies that maybe worked hard and maybe they didn't do what Mariah Carey did, and they seemed to maybe have been pushed aside, including, again, this is a rumor allegedly. I take no responsibility. Here at Price of Reason Studios, I take no responsibility for what I'm going to say. It's not true. Don't listen to what I'm saying, and this is all fake. But based on what I heard, and I've said it before, she was at a party with her friend, Brenda K. Starr, allegedly. And Brenda K. Starr was this big star that was on the rise that they were all kind of building up and developing. Now, Mariah Carey did background vocals for Brenda K. Starr. Brenda K. Starr, if I remember correctly, was initially in a relationship with that same executive. And then Mariah Carey went to a party with her, and she noticed something, that Brenda K. Starr was with that executive, and good things were happening to Brenda K. Starr. So, can you guess what happened next, Professor?
Somebody made a move.
Yes. And rumor has it, allegedly, I don't know what I'm talking about. And here at Price of Reason Studios, we take no responsibility. Brenda K. Starr went to the restroom and leaving the executive unattended, which gave Mariah Carey, who at that moment was the backup singer for this same singer who was with the executives, to say, "Hey, you know what? Maybe you wanna. Here's my tape. What do you think of my cassette?"
Mhm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and this is all allegedly rumors, and I take no responsibility. It's probably all false. It was a fairy tale that I told. because I thought it was a good story, but if there's anybody listening that is from any kind of team, everything I said now is false, a joke, satire, parody, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Just want to make that clear. It's a trust me, bro situation. I have no sources and I don't know anything.
This is
Now
all
we can
just
move on.
this is all hearsay, and nobody heard us say it. So there you
Okay. Well, that is good that we got that out of the way, Professor.
go.
Just
And what
all
did
the
that have to do with
disclaimers.
the MC? Oh yeah, Dominique Thorne. We started with
Dominique
Dominique
Thorne,
Thorne.
yes. How did we
That's
get
how we
to
got.
how did we get from Dominique Thorne
I,
to being a bitch to Mariah Carey stealing Brenda K. Starr's executive boyfriend?
well,
That is a real stretch.
that's
I don't know how we got there.
that's why people listen to the Night Owls.
That is absolutely why they listen to it, because even they can't understand how we got from one topic to another. And by the way, we completely skipped over our first topic. We went to like the second one, sort of.
Yeah,
And
it's okay. Whatever. It happens.
we were supposed to say that Donald Trump likes Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, if she's registered as a Republican, he said he's good with her. Yeah, he
Right.
likes.
I'm trying to think of if I can find the quote. Do you have anything?
Let me see. I had seen.
Okay. I think he put this on like Truth Social or something. Here, I found it.
Okay,
Uh, this is funny. It's that
Price of
Greg guy.
Reason on Truth Social. Yeah.
No, I don't think I don't think I even have an account that's Truth Social. Honestly, I don't really know. Do I have one? Maybe I opened one and didn't do anything with it. I don't even know. In any case, Donald Trump calling Sydney Sweeney hot was not on my 2025 bingo card. Sydney Sweeney, a registered Republican, has the hottest ad out there. At least he didn't say another word.
It's just one key on the keyboard off.
He probably
Yeah.
meant to say something else, but it came out as ad. It was a typo. Out there, it's for American Eagle, and the jeans are flying off the shelves. Go get them, Sydney. On the other side of the ledger, Jaguar did a stupid and seriously woke advertisement. That is a disaster. The CEO just resigned. The company is in turmoil. Shouldn't they have learned a lesson from Bud Light, which went woke and essentially destroyed in a short but very woke campaign? The company, the market cap destruction has been unprecedented, billions of dollars lost. Or just look at woke singer Taylor Swift. Ever since I alerted the world as to what she was by saying on Truth that I can't stand her. Is there more to this? I feel like there's probably something additional that I'm not seeing here.
Let's see. Let's see. Where did you finish? You said who wants to buy a Jaguar
Right here,
after
maybe
there's a
this is it.
ad?
Actress Sydney Sweeney came out this weekend that she was a registered Republican. Any thoughts on that?
That who was?
Sydney Sweeney, she's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
All right.
Say what you want, but he is funny.
Yep.
Anyhow, speedball. Oh, okay. Sorry, it has something to do with baseball, probably. What is, or no, I don't know. What is this? What are they talking about?
Mhm.
Why is speedball? Oh, okay. Sorry. This is something else. Well, I thought in baseball you have a speedball. Isn't there such a thing? There's only two speedballs I was aware of. One, the thing that happened to Jim Belushi and Jim Morrison, which basically is when you
Mhm.
combine one powder with a different type of powder that you shouldn't be combining it with, and then when you combine
Mhm.
those two together, you it's called a speedball because your system is like it's a conflicting thing. Um, generally speaking, it's not a good idea to get involved in either of those things. But worse than getting involved in either of those things is actually combining them. And then if you combine them, it's considered like a speedball.
Mhm.
I Do you know what I'm saying, or am I just I sound like
I believe there's a brand of art supplies called Speedball. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. Is it that guy? It looks like it says Speedball on his
I guess so. I
bandana.
guess it's this guy
Is
on the
that
right. I
Speedball?
don't have a context for this. I feel
I
like
don't know.
I don't know. Anyhow, probably somebody knows. It's probably some wrestling thing. I don't really know. Uh,
Phantom Outsider says there's a Marvel Comics character called Speedball. that, that seems unfortunate, but I would trust Phantom Outsider to know that. So that
and
doesn't seem right.
by the way, I don't know if you saw this. Did you see that? I don't. Sometimes I don't have time. I wanted to do a video, and I had such a good title. I'm not going to use the title. I'm not going to tell you because maybe at some point I'll do it. So I'll save it. But Lizzo, didn't she do something? I don't think it was a parody. I think that Lizzo did something with American Eagle. Not American Eagle, but like trying to make fun of Sydney Sweeney or something like that.
I didn't see this.
This is it here. Let me show you.
Man, all I know
Apparently,
is everyone is focusing on that one where she's laying back. Yeah, everyone's focusing on that version of the ad. But I'm sorry, the one where she's under the hood of that Mustang, and then tightens her pants down around her ass afterwards. That one's much hotter.
I don't disagree, but not the bee is like the Babylon bee, but they're not the bee. I never
Yeah,
understand what the deal is. I guess
it's
the
some of the other guys with Not the Bee. It's like a related publication, but Not the Bee publishes actual stuff.
I
Their
see.
stuff is not satirical, whereas the Bee is satirical.
You know, I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a hater. I'll say this. Um, I appreciate, I can respect the operation that the Babylon Bee have put together. So I don't want to sound like a hater, but I'll say that a lot of times I feel like their humor is just okay. Like once in a while, there'll be something that they say that actually maybe gets a chuckle out of me. But a lot of the stuff I feel like I don't want to say like humor for normies, or I don't know how to explain it. But you know what? What does it matter? If a lot of people like what they do, then they're good at it, and I can't take that away from them. And like I said, once in a while there'll be a joke that I see, and I'll be like, okay, well, this actually was legitimately funny. But it's a lot of swings with a lot of misses, in my opinion. And not to be is just like, oh, why don't we just write shit? Fine, whatever. I mean, it's a good business decision. You already have the B, so you can do the other one where you just write whatever. In any case, not the B wrote a real post from Lizzo, and then it said if the Democrats won the election, and then you have her in the Sydney Sweeney outfit type of thing. Really I don't think that anything that has to do with weight and stuff like this, I don't think that Lizzo should get involved with any of it. And also politics, probably not a good look for her either. The only thing I can say is, and I can't even see it in this picture. In other pictures I've recently seen, I don't know if it's Ozempic or what she's doing. It looks like she lost a few pounds. And when I say a few, I mean a few.
Yeah,
Again, I mean, here's the thing. If let's say I'm trying to think of somebody. I would say that maybe later in life, Aretha Franklin probably, she wasn't thin, but you give her a microphone, she's Aretha Franklin, and her voice is just wonderful, and it's wonderful to see her perform her songs, and that's it. If I were Lizzo, that would be the direction I would go in. Even if she looked like, like a stunning beauty, I actually don't need to hear her thoughts every second. I think that I think that she should focus on whatever music she makes. It's not music that I find extremely appealing. I think that the music is kind of annoying, and I never want to hear it ever. Like if I never hear like a Lizzo song again, I'm fine with that. But some people like her crappy music. No, that's not nice for me to say. Some people like her crappy music. Again, it's I shouldn't say that. Ah, What am I going to
Mhm.
do, Professor? Some people like her crappy music. What can I do? There was probably a nicer way to say that about her music. Maybe it speaks to somebody. If somebody is listening to this and they love Lizzo's music, then I'm sorry. I know she plays flute or something in her songs, and I don't know. What does she have? What's her big song? I'm that bitch. What does she have? Isn't that a song?
You're you're gonna find this surprising, Price, but I've never listened to a Lizzo song.
Can you tell me if she has a song called "I'm That Bitch"? This is what
I
I'm
mean,
thinking.
literally, no. If
Okay, let's
let me
Google it.
see,
Let's Google
Lizzo song.
Lizzo. I'm that. I'm that. Okay, there's a song that she has called "Truth Hurts," and in it,
Mhm.
her big sentence is, "I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that bitch."
Okay.
That's what put her on the map. That was like, wow, Lizzo, she's that
It
bitch.
wasn't the song "Everybody's Gay." That wasn't the song that put her on
Does she have a song like that? I have no idea.
the. It showed up in this list that I got from my AI search tool.
Caleb Levine here at Price of Reason Studios. We don't like Lizzo's music. The thing is that I I don't have an issue. If you're listening to the stream and you think Lizzo's music is great, that's fine. I can't tell people what to like. There's obviously some things that I'm going to like that other people are not going to like, and vice versa. I don't want to be mean if somebody actually like enjoys listening to Lizzo and her music. It's perfectly fine. Not to my taste. It's not my preference. And for me, much like Dominique Thorne, I feel like Lizzo doesn't have a lot working for her, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
She's in a
yeah.
similar category for me that I'm trying to find something she does. You know, sometimes you have a person that's a brilliant musician, brilliant, but like a difficult person. Uh, People think that Prince was insane, really sort of uh, eccentric and odd behavior that people couldn't understand. But man, was that guy talented. Prince, if you put him in a studio and there was nobody else in the studio, and this is before even like computers and software with music and all this stuff. I think that when for his first album, he basically sat there, recorded all the instruments himself, produced the album, recorded the sound. They say that at most, if you forced him, you could put, maybe he'd have an engineer, like a sound engineer sitting there, but even if that guy was gone, he could probably just do everything himself. He was that talented. He could play any instrument, play it very professionally. Not that he could just play the instrument. He plays it like he like if you bring a few professionals now and they're playing and he's playing, he's probably better than them. That's how talented he was. He could sing any style, he could write any style, he could do anything, and the man was kind of crazy. But at least there, like I said, his personality, he can cash that check because it comes with actual talent. Whereas these ladies that I gave you this example of, like Dominique Thorne and even Lizzo, I feel like that there isn't enough to there's nothing to cover the check. Do you get what I mean?
Mhm.
They can't
Yeah.
cash those checks. Dominique Thorne for sure can't. Lizzo, there's still some people that maybe will listen to her music. I don't know why they're listening to her music, but she has some kind of audience. I believe that somebody somewhere will probably listen to Lizzo for some odd reason.
If you say so. It's not gonna be me.
No, it's not going to be us. That's I don't think we're the target audience. Phantom Outsider. Wait, Lizzo sings. I thought she was a novelty act where she lumbers on stage. Thought she was like some kind of relation to Godzilla, and that he will not acknowledge. I wonder why. I don't know. I don't know. Have no idea. Prince was the Mozart of our time, in my opinion, says Elizabeth Quince. It's possible. Uh, I really think that people, maybe even when he was alive and even today, don't realize what a real talent he was. I think that for many years, people knew that he always had some kind of, not exactly a beef, but some kind of rivalry with Michael Jackson. And it kind of annoyed him that Michael Jackson seemed to be more kind of a consensus with the masses when it came to the hits. Maybe Michael Jackson sold more records and was considered more of a mainstream act in a lot of things. If I were Prince, I could sort of understand why he would be frustrated. I think that Michael Jackson was a genius himself, but he didn't play instruments. He heard all the music in his head. He could write a song and he would just sing all the instruments, and I'm sure he did it great. But the fact that Prince could actually play professionally all the instruments, I can understand why in his eyes he thought to himself, why don't they like me more than Michael Jackson? So also, Mozart had was it Salieri who was that rival that Mozart had?
Well, in the story from the films, yeah, Salieri was his rival. Yes, historically, maybe not so much, but yeah, that was the story that played out in the play and in the film with those. Oh, you're sharing your screen there, Price.
Oh,
Yep, there you go.
good.
Yeah.
Good that you told me that.
Yeah. Oh, I believe you. Oh, I know that it is not historically accurate, but I absolutely love the film Amadeus. Incredible film. I was so happy too. Recently, they released a 4K remaster that was done with the director and the original DP and stuff, like made sure that it was like the best representation of the film. And thank God they got rid of the director's cut that they had, because for a while that was all you could get. They had put the original on DVD. I actually had the original theatrical cut on DVD, but it was a flip disc. It was one that you had to turn over in the middle. It's one of those really early DVDs where they couldn't fit everything on with multiple layers, so you had to turn the movie over in the middle. So that sucked. And then they had to when they did release it on Blu-ray, they had the director's edition they put out, and it just wasn't as good. It had too much junk. Had too much junk in it. And it didn't flow as well as the original theatrical version. So yeah, when they put it out on 4K, they went back to the theatrical version, and oh, it's just so good. It's a great film. I know it's not historically accurate, but man,
He didn't have a
great film.
rivalry with Salieri. I always thought he did.
Historically, there's not a lot of evidence for it. Yeah.
I was influenced by the movie.
Yeah,
the movie is
yeah.
so good that I haven't watched it in years, but I guess the
Oh,
movie convinced me that there
F.
was a
Murray
rivalry.
Abraham, performance of a lifetime in that. The scene where he's finally had all he can take, and he's swearing at God. He's like, "How dare you, to give him so much talent, and all you give me is just the ability to recognize his talent, and that, all this, you know what, screw you. If that's how you're going to do things, you're going to give him all that talent, then I'm going to do everything I can to destroy your instrument." That whole scene with him is just incredible. Mark Duthesey, man, you are old. Did you use punch cards too? Not quite, but I did program in some COBOL in the early days. So yeah, no, Amadeus, a fantastic movie, and F. Murray Abraham, so great in that. Yeah.
Yeah, F. Murray Abraham is a good actor.
He's
done-
a fantastic actor. Yes.
yeah,
I
classic
like even when he showed up in when he showed up in Last Action Hero. I love the kid sees him and goes, "He killed Mozart. Don't trust him."
Oh, I think we have the Mega Geek with us, but I can't
Do
hear him.
we?
Mega Geek, you have to press
Somebody's
on that
up
button.
late.
You have to click on that button that disables the microphone.
Okay. Can you
Okay.
hear
Yeah,
me?
we can hear you.
Yeah, I assume you don't have OBS, so
I
let
have IBS.
that's almost as good. Give me 1 second. Let me try to find. I know how to do this. I already have a
Yeah.
system in place.
If you want, you can just turn on your camera and you'll be on screen. But
But maybe he doesn't. He just woke up.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
maybe he's in his pajamas. We
Or
don't
he's
know
up
that.
late. Have you been up doing some editing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was editing. Yeah, yeah, I got stuck on editing. So, and
You know,
I turned on YouTube and I saw you guys. I'm like,
yeah.
okay. Hmm.
Sometimes, I've been there. Sometimes it's just you kind of get into the groove and it's better to
Yeah,
just stay up and keep going.
absolutely. That's
I've done
exactly
that.
what happened.
I
Yeah.
sat down when I was in college. I sat down one night to start writing a paper, and it was probably midnight. I shouldn't have even bothered starting at that point, but I sat down to start writing on a paper, and then my wife woke up at like 4 a.m. and walked in. She's
Yeah.
like, "What the hell are you doing?"
So,
I'm like,
well,
I'm writing a paper. She's like, "It's 4 in the morning." I'm like, I'm getting it done." It's who cares if
yeah.
it's 4 in the morning? It's happening. So I'm
Did
making
you hear that story about Michael Caine when he slept at John Barry's house? Have you heard that story?
no.
Well, Michael Caine was really kind of he was out of money and he was sleeping on Terence Stamp's house, and Terence Stamp said you have to leave, or was it the neighbor or whatever? Anyway, so he said, I've got my friend, his name is John Barry, and he'll take you in. So Michael Caine went to sleep at John Barry's house, and he was knackered and he was trying to sleep, but John Barry kept playing his piano all the way through the night, and eventually got to sleep. And then he woke up and he went into the kitchen and he was still playing his piano. And he said, how's it going? And he goes, oh, it's going great. And he goes, do you want to hear what I've composed? And he said, yeah, okay. And it was the Goldfinger. So basically, Michael Caine was the first person to hear Goldfinger. Would you believe? The
I
actual,
Wow.
remember hearing that story, and
yeah,
man, that's
yeah,
pretty cool. Does
yeah.
Michael Caine appreciate being the guy that heard it or no?
Yeah, no, he does, because he told that story. He said he was the very first person to hear it, and John Barry was the very first. Obviously, he was staying with John Barry, but that's amazing because at that time in the '60s, everybody was clicking. It was for Terence Stamp, it was him, it was the Broccolis. You know what I mean? England was the the focus of the world in the '60s. We had everything. We had Bond, we had the Avengers, we had the Beatles. Do you know what I mean? Everybody was focused on England, which is interesting at that time.
That's
Oh,
back when England was still doing some cool things on a cultural level.
absolutely. Now we're shit. So there you go.
In England's defense, it's kind of shit everywhere. I mean, the only thing I can say is, and I don't know because I always ask you this because you actually live there, but I told you I've been a number of times earlier, not in recent years, in England, and I always loved going there. Always loved taking trips there, and felt very comfortable there. But when I look at the videos today, it looks like a completely different place, and I wonder if for you, that somebody that lives there, does it also look different, or just I'm seeing selective videos that makes it seem like it's different?
Well, it's the attitude in England is different, put it that way. Yeah, I don't know where England's going, but they seem to be losing their identity. I mean, obviously, my parents come from Trinidad and Venezuela, and they ended up here. But I am English, obviously, because I was born here. But it's not the England that I recognize. The attitudes are really weird. Um, and the governments have gotten worse. They're lying right in front of you. They're not hiding their lies now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's gotten a
Yeah.
bit worse. There you go.
Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, I feel like it's lost a lot of its whatever made England England.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel that way, and I
yeah,
think especially when I don't want to get too political here. I think that there's certain things that I see that have happened in that culture, that elements that are so strong that they've really influenced the culture.
yeah. I mean, the national dish was fish and chips, but now it's curry. I think it's been curry for the last 50 years or so. Do you know what I mean? So by opening the doors and letting other countries in, it's a good thing. But now these days, it feels like the
It's
country's
too much
being
of a good
invaded.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
I don't
it's
know.
gonna be falafel soon.
Right. I
But
mean,
it could be
I at least
worse.
I'm gonna be very careful here. I think that curry. I like Indian food personally. Not that I
Yeah,
don't like falafel. I actually think that falafel is good food also. But uh, all I can say is this, and this is what I think the problem is. If I zoom out a bit, people that come to another country and they want to be a part of that country, they're usually not the problem. I think that the problem is people that come to another country and they want this new country they came to be like the old country they
yeah,
left. When
yeah.
it turns out that the old country they left because there were so many issues there. So why would you want to make the new place like the old place if the old place was so bad? And this is something that I think that I run into, and this is just isn't just about England. It's about so many other places. I generally think that every group of people, it doesn't matter the religion or the ethnicity or anything like that. I think that there's good people in every group like this. The problem isn't really the good people. The problem is the people that are sort of bad faith actors that maybe have whatever. Uh,
Well, a couple of days ago, who's the people that have to when they pray, they kneel and they pray north or something. Like that. Was it south? I don't know, but um, they all congregated in a children's playground, and it was kind of disrespectful because it's a children's playground. What they've got mosques they can pray in, but they didn't. They decided to do it in a children's playground, and there was a bit of coverage over it, and it's just things like that they kind of didn't respect what they were doing. Religion's a funny thing, really. It could save people, but it also can make things worse if you use it the wrong way. And I think disrespecting the English culture and doing that it's kind of bad, really. I understand what they were trying to do, but still, they should have more respect for the English culture as well as. Do you know what I mean? And then they use
Mhm.
the excuse that it's religion and that they have to do that for their well-being and all that. But really, it's just being disrespectful. That's all it is. But telling them that it's like saying there's only two gender. Well, I can't even. I'm so tired.
genders.
Genders. This is like saying that now these days, isn't it? Where people just go mental, don't they? It's
I
ridiculous,
saw
isn't it?
I saw that J.K. Rowling was now again fired up about all of this, and she was writing all this stuff about how years from now women are going to look back at this time and pretend that they always supported women and they weren't supportive of everything that's happening now. That
Mm.
they're going to try to rewrite history in 10 years. And I saw her arguing with people about it.
They're trying to rewrite history now, aren't they, guys? They really are. With the TV shows and everything. Yeah, as I said on my X, I was watching this thing called The Assassin, which is on Amazon. And the first 5 minutes, the main character's unlikable. And then we get to a son, who's this well-known star, which I can't remember. He starts crying, and I was out. Once I saw that white guy cry, I was out. I was like, I'm gone. Because every show now has a white guy crying. Do you know what I mean? It's just so, I
You
don't
know,
know.
the problem is, it doesn't matter if you have a show and one guy, it doesn't even matter his skin color, he could cry or whatever it is. I think the problem is that I can barely remember the last time I saw a movie. Well, I do remember because I think F1 had it, where there's
Yeah,
just a man and he acts like a man in a movie, and he has
yeah,
moments where he's kind of a dick, he has moments where he's kind of heroic or has character, and you like him, and he's a complicated, but it doesn't make them look like pussies in that movie. Sorry, Sean.
yeah.
So basically, I guess what I'm saying. So F1 was a good movie like that, but F1 is the exception to the rule. Most of the movies are the way you described. That's the problem.
The thing is, though, guys, I reckon, like, say, I give you an example, right? I have a niece, and this was going back 8 years, and she was going on about how she liked women and all that nonsense. And I was like, okay, I listen very carefully because these days you can't tell kids that they're wrong anymore because they go mental. So I was just like, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I said to my mum, look, there's no way she knows what she's talking about. She's far too young. And you know what? The next 10 years later, she's got a child. So, all these people are influenced by, I am this, I am that, the young kids. I don't think they know what they're talking about because they haven't gone through life. and they're influenced by everything that's around them, from the schools to the system to everything that's trying to push them in that way. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yes.
think that one day they're going to
Absolutely.
understand. They're going to understand that that is not the way. I hope they don't cut their stuff off their bodies and regret what they've done. Do you know, like so many people in the States. So, fingers crossed that they come to their senses, if you know what I mean. So, but
Yes.
anyway, yeah, I don't want to
Well,
derail this.
I want to say that I think that One Dirty Bird sent some kind of Rumble rant, and I'm not
Yes,
sure
we
that
did
I
get a
saw.
Rumble rant.
I apologize, One Dirty Bird. He says, I started with DOS on an 8088. I'm trying to think. You said, Professor, that you started on a 286, and I think that that's what I had also. I had like a 286. There was 286 XT. There was
Mhm.
XT and AT. Remember that?
Yeah.
Is
Uh,
that
te-
computer talk?
yes, and
Yeah.
technically, actually, I had a family member who had something called a Sinclair. That
I
wasn't.
remember that.
Yeah, and that was initially, I think, from England. The
Yes.
Sinclair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
That guy
sorry.
made that little car, didn't he? Do you remember that little stupid car that he thought was going to take off? It looked like a kid's car, and it was a real small little car that people could afford to drive.
Yes.
What was it called? Sinclair something? I can't remember. It's the same company. They lost a
Uh,
crap load of money on it.
The
Maybe.
C5.
A C5, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it the same company though?
Yes,
It
Sinclair.
was?
The actual guy
Well, it
is
was the
named
same
Sinclair.
guy. He started another company to try and make
Yeah.
this little electric car thing. It was like, or it was an electric pedal cycle. It was an electric
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And you look stupid in it as well.
Oh,
So
it's idiotic looking. Yeah.
yeah, what an idiot.
So yeah, it looked something. I'm trying to find.
Yeah, I can show it what it looked like.
I
It
also was
really
trying
did.
to show what the Sinclair looked like.
Here's the C5 that we were talking about.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Imagine driving. I mean, imagine driving down the highway in that. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
No.
whatever happened to it? I mean, was this he was basically trying to do an electric vehicle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did it
It was
work?
No.
it was sort of like a recumbent bicycle, but
Yeah.
it was electrically powered on top of that. And no, it was awful.
I'll show that again, but
It did not succeed for very long.
just to answer One Dirty Bird, this was the Sinclair, and I
Yeah.
played around with this one when I was very, very young.
Yeah. The
I
8088 that he mentioned, that was 79. That was actually the start of that whole line of processors was the 8086. The 88 was a slightly improved version of that was much more popular, but that led into the 286, the 386, the 486. Those were all built on the same architecture. So
Commodore
yeah.
64. That's what I had.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know if I remember this story correctly because One Dirty Bird mentioned DOS. If I remember the story correctly, isn't DOS the way that Bill Gates became Bill Gates? Basically, if I remember
More or
correctly,
less.
he didn't even have an operating system and he didn't
No.
know how to make one. And he had a meeting with somebody. Maybe, I don't know if it was at Microsoft. I'm trying to think who he had a meeting with. Not Microsoft, sorry. He was Microsoft. He had a meeting with somebody, IBM. Maybe it was IBM.
Yes,
And
he went to he went to IBM to sell them their computers that Microsoft was
Right.
going to make and sell them their operating system because they didn't have their own operating system that could really operate in the levels that they needed. So yeah, he sold IBM he sold IBM Microsoft DOS,
But
but
I
it didn't exist.
Right. I thought that what happened is that basically, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, maybe somebody will correct me. They sat in the meeting and they said, "Hey, do you have like an operating system that you could put here?" I said, "Of course, no problem. It's not a problem at all." Walked out of the office, quickly found somebody with an operating system, and that was his operating system.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
That's what I
what happened?
recall.
There was CPM, with the control program for microcomputers that was created by a guy named Gary Kildall. And they came to him and they were like, "Oh, well, we could use this for something, whatever." And I believe they paid him like 50 grand for it. Uh,
Wow.
and of course, they paid him 50 grand for it. They had already been paid several hundred million, or had a
Isn't
contract for several hundred million from IBM. So
guess
they basically just screwed him royally for
mm,
for
But
what
there's
he
probably
sold them.
nothing he could
Yeah.
do because it doesn't sound like they did something illegal except for being assholes, which isn't
yeah.
illegal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't there a film called Blackberry that's on, is it Netflix, where it's about the making of the Blackberry phone?
I think that they
There
made
might
that
be,
movie. I
yeah.
didn't watch it, but there is such a movie, yes.
Mm,
There
interesting.
there it was a TV film called The Pirates of Silicon Valley that tells a lot of these stories pretty well. Has Noah Wiley in there as Steve Jobs.
I just going
I
back
think
to,
I've
because
seen it.
I was listening to you guys before I came on. Just going back to Iger, and you were talking about why haven't they gone? I reckon, right, why they haven't gone is because they want to be known before they leave for something great.
Yeah, they
And
want a
that's the why they
legacy.
keep hanging on. Yeah, that's why they keep hanging on. That's what I reckon. With all of them, in fact, all of them, because they know they fucked up big time, and so they need that thing where they're leaving and it's all it's all good. You know what I mean? So anyway, sorry, I derailed your computer
No,
talk.
no.
Sorry.
Oh no, the
No, it
computer
wasn't that
talk was
important.
kind of
We just
off
wanted,
offsides
yeah,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it
All
was just
right,
we just wanted to answer one dirty bird. He gave a rumble rant, and
all
we
right.
wanted to give the attention. But I think that we gave the full attention. We've been staring at a Sinclair for a bit now, and even that electric vehicle.
I had a buddy that had a Sinclair. He didn't have that version. He had like the next one
Yeah,
that
I
came
had
out,
I had the
like
next
just
one as
before.
well. Yeah, I had the next one. Then I somebody got me a Commodore. Well, didn't get me, got the family Commodore 64, and that was that really. We just stayed on that for a very long time. Do anybody remember the Commodore 64?
Oh yeah, that was an
No?
amazing system. I didn't have one, but I had a friend that did, and we would play on that. That thing was so cool.
Yeah, it was.
I wanted one of those so bad, but all I got at that time, as I've said before, growing up, we were fairly poor, so the only computers we had were hand-me-downs that we got from from
But
other family members.
we were, but I remember putting the tape in. You had to wait till it revved up or something like that, didn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you could play the game. But I remember my friend copied those games, and I did not know how he did it. He used to copy them. Is it just the case where you put it tape in and you copy it? Do you know what I mean? I don't know
You
how
could
they.
you could if you had the right recorder, yeah, and it wasn't too many generations off the original. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
do that. I that was one my cousins had. I mean, I would say the first computer, quote unquote, that I ever used was an Atari 800.
Oh wow,
My cousins had one of those.
that's
It
going
was
back.
the one that you, like, plugged into the TV, and
Yeah.
it had a tape drive and everything that ran off of it. Yeah, that was because I
Even
remember my cousin was playing around trying to learn BASIC, and so we were playing around with that, and he'd show me how to make it
going
change
back
colors.
further. My first computer I ever saw, my dad got for Christmas was Atari, and it played Pong. That was the first thing I ever saw. My dad got this thing. He put the cartridge in, and we called it tennis, but it's called Pong, isn't it? Where it just goes did did
Yep.
did. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was the first one I ever saw, and I thought was amazing. But now you look at the stuff. My brother plays this game at a Redemption, and he's still playing it after like 5 years. How many tracks has that got? How many places could he go? Seems like you can go anywhere with it. It's crazy.
I feel like maybe this was a computer. It was another one from that era, the one with the
Oh, the
tape.
TRS-80 is infamous. Yeah.
I think that I had a relative with this one, and then you were able to put these tapes in and upload games through the tape. It was very, very strange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's who remembers TVs monitors like that? Jeez.
Final thing, Gates did the same thing to Jobs. That's what One Dirty Bird said. What with trying to copy his operating system? Because
Yeah. So
I think Apple had the operating system like with the Windows first, right?
Yeah, so they went to Xerox PARC, Xerox's research group that had shown their system that they had that had icons and used a mouse with a pointer, and it had windows, and it could do you could do multiple things on it at once, multitasking. And they saw that and they were blown away by it. And Steve Jobs was like, that is the future. This is the future of compute. And so they did what they could. Xerox had no designs on trying to monetize it in any way. So he went to Xerox PARC and said, "We want that. Like, we want to buy that from you." And so they took that, and that's what they built the Macintosh around, as opposed to the Apple computers that were more text based. The Macintosh was built around that. Well, they tried really hard to keep all of that secret, but of course, stuff got out. People talked, and then eventually, Microsoft designed Windows, and Steve Jobs saw it snuck out. It got out, and he saw a demo of it, and he lost his shit. Sorry, Sean. He lost it because he went up to Gates' face and accused him stealing their operating system because it worked so much like what they had for the Macintosh, and
It's
he was
funny, right? All
furious.
those arguments that people had in the past, it means nothing now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It absolutely means nothing. It's really funny. Sometimes when I have an argument or when I have a heated discussion with someone, I always try to divorce myself for it because I know at the end of the day, it means nothing. It's just trivial, especially when you are, especially when you have a heavy a conversation about woke stuff and Doctor Who and all that stuff. It's just pointless, isn't it? Because yeah, I always say this to people, right? The studios, the Hollywood system that makes films now, and all the other streaming systems, they don't make films for us. They make it for themselves. They really do. There's no point even asking what we need. And they try to be subtle now, and they try to stick things in there, and they try to be subtle, but they're not being subtle because we can see it. So they're not making it for us anymore. They're making it for themselves. They always have for the last, what, 10 years. You got to admit. Otherwise, we would have had the perfect Spider-Man. We'd have the perfect Superman. We'd have the perfect Fantastic Four. We don't have it, do we? We just have shit. That's what we have. But
Yep.
sorry.
No, it's true. It's true. You can say sorry, Sean, because that's what we usually do here.
Oh, Sean. Sorry, Sean. Yeah.
It's funny because
I
most of the
know.
time Sean isn't even here, and even when he's here, if he curses, he apologizes to himself. So ridiculous situation, but yes.
Yeah, it's as I say, guys, it's terrible. You know what film I watched before I started editing? I watched Heads of State with John Cena
And Idris
and
Elba,
Idris Elba. Yeah, do you know what? It was okay. It had a bit of woke in it with the girl, but it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a lot
I
of fun.
I started watching maybe the first I saw maybe the first 20 minutes and I had to leave somewhere and I never went
Mm.
back to it. I don't know. The first 20 minutes didn't really draw me in, but if you say it's decent, maybe I could watch the end of it. I was planning
Yeah,
to, but I just didn't find a moment. But you're saying it's not bad?
yeah. It's stupid. It's stupid fun. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's still got a bit of the woke in there because you see the size of Idris. He's huge, right? And he's having trouble beating up people. But the woman that comes in, she has no trouble beating up men twice the size of her and stuff like that. So it's the little things like that. But still, they didn't make them look like weak men. They were doing a lot of stuff. Idris was shooting stuff. And they had fights and stuff like that. It was really ludicrous. It was more. It wasn't. There's a level of ludicrous, right? You ever see Air Force One?
Yeah.
And Air
Yeah,
Force
of
One is
course.
ludicrous, but it has the line it doesn't cross. It's kind of serious, but it's ludicrous. But this one is kind of ludicrous and a little bit funny. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
that's what it is.
it's listed as an action comedy. So yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised it takes things a
Yeah.
little further, a little more to the ridiculous side. Yeah.
But when you watch this film, I just was shaking my head. How much money did they spend on this? It really does look very expensive. I'm not giving a little bit of spoilers here. Air Force One goes down. The effects are really good. So I don't know. They must have spent a lot of money on there. on that film. But I kind of recommend it if you've got nothing else better to do and you just want to smile a bit. Then yeah, watch that film.
So watch that instead of the new War of the Worlds.
Oh
Right.
God, that 5 minutes I was out. What a load of bollocks.
Oh,
I haven't even bothered. All I know is it still has a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Awful.
basically,
Awful.
I tried to watch it, and maybe within about 10, 15 minutes, I couldn't watch anymore. I could tell how bad it was. It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible.
Price, the last review you did, that film about the girl with the horses. What was that film called? Right.
It was
I watched your review and I enjoyed it, right? But you know what put me off?
what?
The lead woman in the clips that you showed me with the half-shaven hair and the
That
stunts on her
didn't help.
face and
That didn't
I
help.
was like, why would I watch this film? Why? Do you know what I mean? I ain't gonna
I
watch a
mean,
film.
I tried being a little more diplomatic in my review, but what I basically said is that these ladies, they chose women who are not actresses, just so people know, you know what, I'm going to bring up what this movie is so they know what we're talking about. So
Mm.
just to the chat here, I saw 2 movies this week, and Ian, I'm impressed that you're actually subscribed to my live channel.
Yeah, when you told me to.
Oh, okay. Because the thing is that sometimes on the live channel, I put reviews that aren't on my main channel that are more kind of smaller indie movies or stuff like that.
Right.
So let me try to
Yeah.
find this thing. East of the Wall. East of
It's
Wall.
immediately when I saw your review, right, I thought to myself, this is a movie that nobody would want to watch. No one, because first of all, you're not presenting someone in such a way that you do go, oh, you know what I mean? That looks all right. It just looks all very feminist nonsense. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know. Is that true? Because you've seen it. I don't know.
Okay, so basically, it has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is an absolute joke. This is not a 94% movie. This is the biggest joke I've ever seen. I bet that the only people that have watched it until now are like feminist activists or
Mm.
people that are like-minded, and that's why this thing is getting a good grade. It does not deserve this grade, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah,
And
no, you're absolutely right. I mean, uh, 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 going back, because obviously I was listening to your live stream with interest. You were talking about Justin Bateman, and Justin Bateman talks a lot of sense, but I don't know. There's something about what she says because, like, she's a director now, right? And she hasn't really made a successful film, and she's making these independent. She's just made one about a woman who there's voiceover and it's her thoughts, but it's her negative thoughts. Have you heard of this one? I can't remember what it's called. Violet. I think it's called Violet. And I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, "This is a film. This doesn't interest me. It's like she's making films for the Hollywood elite. That's what it feels like to me. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
As I said, I'm not going to take anything away from what she says. She's making a crap load of sense when it comes to Hollywood. But you always find when people talk about filmmaking or this, that, the other, when you see their efforts, it's kind of okay. It's not great. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm slagging her off. I shouldn't really slag her off because I think she's doing good. But I don't know. She's got a short film on YouTube, and I saw that and I thought it was just mediocre. And then I saw this trailer. I was thinking, no, I wouldn't go out my way to see this film. Do
Yeah,
you
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
there's only one guy. All the rest, I think some of them were already at film festivals prior, a few months back. There's only one guy that added a new review, and I believe that before he added his rotten review, it was actually at 100%. When I looked in the
Mm.
morning, this movie had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and now I guess this guy lowered it to 94%. But this movie is nothing even close to 100. It's not in the 90s. I gave it in my review. I mean, you're welcome to watch my review. I gave it a 35 out of 100.
Yeah, you
And
did. Yeah.
and the thing is that there's several problems. First of all, just for people who don't know, this movie is about a woman who kind of has a ranch with horses that she trains. Her husband died, so apparently of self-deleting himself. But then, as the movie goes along, it's kind of hinted that he also used to Uh,
Abused them?
yes, he was an abusive type of person.
What a surprise.
It's hinted, although it's not 100% clear, but he never is seen in a positive light, even though you don't even see him. And then she has like a daughter and a son, and like she's it's so bad. I mean, the thing is that there was actually a movie here. Forget about the fact that it presented the man poorly and all that kind of stuff. If you told me now that my mission is to make a movie out of this, I could make a movie that would at least be watchable. And first of all, I could make a movie that also doesn't make men look bad. Because part of this movie is a businessman comes along and he's like, listen, I don't train horses like you do, but I'm good at selling. So why don't we do some
Yeah.
kind of partnership? I'm going to pay a lot of money to basically buy out your land, and we'll have a partnership where you're still here with your team, because she has all these kind of misfit and problematic kids helping her out.
Mm.
He's like, you can keep all these people, you can have a lot of money, just train the horses and I'll make sure they're sold and it'll be our business. Now, between you and me, the funny thing is that his plan looks great to me. It's like, you think to yourself, like, why don't you take the deal? And she's like, no, I don't need no man. I'm going to train a horse and
Yeah.
sell it. And then she goes, and at the end of the movie, she decides that she's selling a horse for $20,000. And then all the kids that work, they're all like high fiving. She sold it for $20,000. And I think that the moral of the story is like, I don't need no man. I sold the horse myself for $20,000. Screw you. And it's like, that guy told you that he was going to take care of your family. He basically was suggesting that there's so much land there that he's willing to pay for that she'll be taken care of for life. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that
He was.
yeah, sorry, mate. That is what's wrong with filmmaking, especially independent filmmaking now. I don't need no man. It's still the same message. It's still the same woke
Stupid
shit.
message, yes.
Yeah.
And the thing that's most annoying, the lady that made this movie, she decided that instead of real actresses, she would take women who all really did train horses that had quote unquote a similar life to the characters described, or maybe these characters inspired the movie. So she's like, well, they can be the actresses. And it's like, no, they can't. For starters, the main lady, like you said, I'm going to try to navigate around this in the nicest way possible. She doesn't look like a leading actress, and let's say she didn't look like a leading actress, but she was the best actress. Like, really, they discovered. I was saying before, like a Meryl Streep level type of actress. I'd say, okay, well, maybe
Mm.
she doesn't look great, but she is a darn good actress. But she's supposed to carry this movie, and I don't believe her for a second. She doesn't seem. And if you have this kind of independent movie with such like limited resources, with a screenplay that is inexcusable, and you have an actress that can't even carry a scene, then why are we even doing this movie? And that's what I said also in my review, that at the end of the day, the screenplay and the acting is really what makes it bad. Now, if the screenplay and the acting was bad and this woman happened to be the most gorgeous woman on the face of the
Exactly.
earth, maybe you'll just be like, well, it's not such a good movie, but at least that lady didn't look bad. But
Exactly.
you're not going to get like a supermodel there either. It doesn't fulfill any of the minimum requirements. Sometimes, like I said, I don't want to be mean. Sometimes you could have a movie that doesn't have a gorgeous actress, but has a really charismatic, good actress. Sometimes you just have a gorgeous actress who's not such a good actress, or a gorgeous and charismatic actress. Sometimes you have a screenplay that's good, but not the best actors. This one doesn't have anything. I sat there and I thought, like, I think there's an interesting concept, because when you see the horses and the training, if you told me now, hey, can you write a movie about a woman who trains horses, her husband died, and somebody wants to buy her business, and like she has a lot of people that rely on her, I can make a story out of that, and I don't have to make the guy look bad. I can even make the guy and her fall in love, maybe, and at the end, he respects how she trains horses, but she respects that he brought his checkbook and he bailed her out of all her financial troubles, and now they're all going to work together. And maybe in order to get from A to B, both of them have to grow as characters. But this is not that kind of movie. This is I don't need no man, yo. And
Yeah, but
yeah,
we knew. I mean, the independent films are going that way as well, and they're allowing they're opening the door to them. It's the same woke shit that's in Hollywood at the moment. It seems to be like a virus that's spreading in the entertainment industry in America. That's what it feels like to me, and it's even spreading towards the independent films as well. Because this film, no one And let me tell you, no one in England would want to see this film. No one. I don't know who in America would want to see this film either.
Nobody is gonna watch this movie. I feel like I don't even know why I made a review of it. I think that it's gonna get the least amount of views that any review that I've ever posted is gonna get. Nobody cares
Mm.
about this movie. Nobody's heard about it, and I don't think anybody's gonna watch it. I feel like at the end, the only people that are gonna see my review are maybe the people that made the movie, because they're probably gonna Google the movie at some point, and because nobody is reviewing it and nobody cares about it, the only review that'll come up is mine. That's my theory.
Do you know, I read that Wes Anderson, he's going to keep making movies. Do you know why? Because he knows a rich guy that keeps giving him money to make his films. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. So,
It's the only
this
way it
rich
would make
guy's just going to give him money all the
It's the
time.
only
Yeah.
way that it would make sense to me. And you know what? I've seen the last Wes Anderson movie, and I really wanted to like it, The Phoenician Scheme or whatever it's called. I really
Yeah.
wanted to like that
Yeah.
movie, but man, I don't know what to tell you. Either Wes Anderson just doesn't speak to me. I feel like there were movies back in the day that spoke to me more, maybe like The Royal Tenenbaum,
Yeah, I
but
like that.
I
Yeah.
feel like over the years his style has become more and more personal and in a way more alienating. Like
Mm.
the way people talk in his movies feels so unnatural and weird. And I know some people like that weirdness, but for me, sometimes in a movie, it starts to exhaust me. And the Phoenician Scheme, I felt exhausted watching it. I didn't enjoy it, and I walked out thinking, man, he's gone too far with his Wes Anderson shtick.
Mm. I do respect someone like the old directors, because even though a lot of people say they're way past their prime, some of them are still going. Like Martin Scorsese, he's still going. He made some terrific movies in his age, in his older age. Like
Somehow pulled it off, yes.
yeah, he has, and I think it's because of his talent. That's all. Wes Anderson, I think he's very talented, but I kept wondering, why do studios keep giving him money when his films just kind of sometimes don't even break even? And then somebody said to me, he's got a rich guy that keeps backing him all the time, and that
One,
kind of made sense to me. Mm.
One, maybe there is a rich guy backing him. The other thing is that I'm not sure, because I think that this last one cost more, significantly more than anything it made in the theater. I would say
Yeah,
that he's probably, if they're not spending half a billion on his movie, and let's say they're spending 30 million or 35 million, whatever this one costs, I would think that they should spend even less. But let's say they spend 30 to 35 between the box office receipts. Maybe he can make like 20 million there, and not even, because he doesn't keep a lot of that. Maybe
yeah,
between that, some streaming deal, and maybe these kind of more snooty people that are willing to either buy DVDs later, or buy or rental or do some digital thing. Maybe he somehow, it's worth it with a low budget, because maybe you can somehow with his name cover the budget. And over time, he's kind of one of those directors that people want to see their collection. Whoever gets hooked on like Wes Anderson, they're going to watch one movie, they're going to watch another movie, they're going to watch another movie.
yeah,
There is a niche for it. As long as his movies aren't priced at $200 million a pop, I think that with low budgets, it's worth it for somebody. And if maybe he has a rich friend that throws a few million in there, maybe that's something to too.
yeah. You're probably right.
Even the
You're
rich
right.
friend doesn't have to throw in the whole movie. Even if the rich friend, let's say, says, I'm giving, half the budget or a portion of the budget, and between maybe getting some, I don't know where they filmed, getting a few tax rebates, getting some ticket sales somewhere, DVD streaming, when you're like I said, when your movie doesn't cost too much, it's a lot easier to do things
I
to
think that's
not.
the best way for Hollywood to go, is to actually make films that have like a line that it won't cross budget wise. I think they need to do that now. I mean, the Marvel films are just getting out of hand. There's no way they can make a profit if they keep going this way by piling money in. And the reason why
Oh
they keep
no.
piling money in is because they don't have a decent script, don't have a structure. They start shooting when they don't even have a script, which
Yeah,
is
And it
and
looks
ludicrous.
that way.
we're already hearing that that's what's happening with Doomsday. They
Yeah.
the writers, the Russos, are just on set with a notebook. with some ideas for different shots and scenes that they want. And so they're shooting scenes. They don't even have an actual script finished and ready.
And also they lie a lot as well. So
Oh
I'll
yeah.
give an example, right? So me and Keith, we went to see Endgame. We seen it before in the cinema, but they had a special screening at BAFTA where the two writers was going to talk after the film. So we saw the film, and then obviously it was the time when we were talking about Mrs. Marvel and stuff like that in the film. And then they're writing, and the two writers were saying things like, you know, yeah, everything we wrote was the only things we changed was a little bit of change, whatever. But it's obvious that they were lying because when you watch that film, you know Miss Marvel was shoehorned in. When you watch those scenes, because right, I tell you the reason why I know, and this makes logical sense to me. She grabs the glove, right? But she doesn't put it on. She doesn't click her fingers and make everything right because she had the power. Because remember, the Hulk put it on and he could just barely take the power, right? And
Mhm.
Iron Man died because he couldn't take the power. But Miss Marvel is as powerful as Superman and Thanos. So why did she take the glove, take it off Peter Parker, fly it to another person? Because that's what I'm saying. That gives me a reason to think that she was just shoehorned in. They didn't think about it too much. If they thought about it too much, then I would have thought, fuck, she could have just put the glove on and click and make everything better. But they didn't because they were shoehorning her in everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And that was the start of the woke stuff. That's when it was really coming into fruition in the
Oh
Marvel
yeah,
film.
when the girls get it done scene when they
Yeah,
all have to,
yeah,
oh, we've got this, and then they all get wiped out, and Spider-Man still has to take it back.
exactly. And also what really pissed me off as well with with what's his name? Star-Lord. When Star-Lord was killing people and he sees what's her name? The Green Girl, what her name is. What's the girl's name?
Gamora.
Gamora. And
Gamora.
she kicks her in the balls twice. And she, and then he goes, "Oh, you got me on the second one," and then he falls to his knees. I'm like, why have that in there? Why? Do you know what I mean? Why? Why? It just goes to show, don't it, that that was the start of actually, you know, turning the boys' brand into a female brand,
Yep.
and they've been like that ever since because they're making stuff for themselves. Now, you see, Feige was talking about, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We made Fantastic Four for the fans. No, we didn't.
I love
They
that you
made
call him
Fantastic Four
Kevin
for
Feige.
themselves. Well, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Feige? I always thought it was
No,
Feige.
you said fakey, and fakey is a good
Oh,
way to
Feige.
describe
Kevin
him. He is a
Feige?
fakey.
He is.
You
He is.
accidentally just trademarked a new name for him.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he's not making films for us at all, and he doesn't
No.
understand. He doesn't understand that we, people of age, we are the audience. It's not this new audience that's come. It's not even the audience that grew up with the Marvel films. It's us. Yeah, it's always been us with Doctor Who, with Star Wars, with Star Trek, everything. It's always been us. So
Yeah.
I don't.
It's there's a diehard group of people who are going to see these films. We've seen it now over and over again. All three of the Marvel films that have come out this year, it's the same people going back to see it. It's the same demographics. They're not bringing in very many new people. Yeah, they managed to get a few more in for Fantastic Four with some extra advertising and some extra, attempts at trying to make the world look a little bit different, a little bit more attractive, maybe to some other people. But yeah, it's just the same people showing up every time. And no, it's not, the 18 to 35-year-olds or whatever. A lot of it is older people who are fans of the comics and they're fans of film and they want to go see it in the theater. A lot of the younger people, they don't care about seeing it in the theaters anymore.
No,
Not
they
one
don't.
bit. Not unless it's something a big special event that they really have to be there. They're gonna go with their friends to see it. Most of the time, they're more than happy to just watch on their, 6-inch phones.
Phones. Yeah, their
Yep.
phones. That's where everything is going now.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shame really because cinema was a communal event, wasn't it? Where everybody got together and people you didn't know, you were laughing with people and stuff like that. These
When
days,
I
yeah, sorry, go ahead, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, when I got to see when I saw Naked Gun, it was only a handful of people.
Yeah,
When I took my son, we had a nearly packed theater. It was a small theater, but it was pretty packed. We had, probably on our row of, 15 seats. There were at least 9, maybe 10 people, and then we had a bunch of people behind us. So we had a whole theater of people cracking up and laughing together in a film. I was like, I can't remember the last time I was doing this.
that just goes
Actually,
to
like,
show,
yeah,
doesn't it?
it
Just
was
goes to
great.
show that cinema can come back if the right films are played,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Instead of trying to educate us and giving messages and stuff like that, just give us what we want, and we will come. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So we're
I'm
not
I'm
gonna.
thinking I'm thinking about getting a movie pass just because there's so many re-releases coming that I want to go see.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? I'm definitely going to go and see Jaws, the 50th, when
Oh,
that
that's
comes
so good.
out.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
definitely going to
can't
go and see
convince
that.
my son to come with me. He thinks it's going to be just too scary. I'm like, oh, come on.
Really?
It's
I
one of
think
the
you should totally
it's
do
just
it.
amazing. Such a good
Mm.
film.
I mean, look at all the films that have been released recently. They've been just a waste of everybody's time. Like Megan 2, I thought was
Oh,
going
that
to be
was
good. It
awful.
was awful, absolutely awful. You're just sitting there going, "What happened?" Do you know what I mean? Why would you change the format of a horror film and make it into action movie?
I
Do
I
you
mean,
know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. While I was watching it, there was a very, very small part of me that could appreciate that they tried to make something that wasn't exactly like the first one. The
Mm,
problem is it was so far off that it just
yeah,
was cringe and annoying and poorly written, and it was really awful. It was such an awful movie, Megan 2, which is sad because Megan 1 was
it
kind
was
of a
fun.
pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Megan one. It's a shame, really. As I said, right, I love cinema, and it'll be a sad day when most cinemas disappear and stuff like that. But oh, there's me again. What's going on? It's later, but yeah. Did you just do that with AI?
Yeah, yeah,
The
I did it
rest of
with
my
AI.
body. That's crazy, right? Oh God. And that's another thing. AI is going to make it easier for the independent filmmaker, but it's going to make it worse for people in Hollywood. Jobs are going to be lost, and it's just going to get worse, isn't it? I think it's worse now. Hardly anything's been made in Hollywood. So I was talking to my friend in New York. She's a grip, and she was saying that she used to be working all the time. Now she's only got 2 jobs to do, and they're small jobs as well. So nothing's happening in New York either. That's crazy, right?
You have to admit that you're impressed with how I've put you into the scene here.
I am. I am.
We're in space with a disco ball. Come on, man.
Yeah, nice. It's all good, mate. It's all good. But, as I said, right, I'm so disappointed with movies these days. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just disappointed with all of it, to tell you the truth. I don't know what you
Yeah,
guys
there's a
think.
lot of disappointment to go around. By the way, there's another movie that I saw. I don't know if you saw my other review.
What's
Uh,
one?
this is probably going to upset Vex Electronica, who I don't think is listening today. Basically, Davian Donaldson is saying, "Hello, Price R2, and my apologies. Who is the other YouTuber called, please? This is Ian the Mega Geek, but on YouTube you should find him under Rebecca Gold because he is the director and writer and producer of his own series, which is now going to be a movie. And you should check out what he's doing because he's doing great stuff. I,
Oh,
I,
thank you.
if we should even put the link here. How do I do that, Professor?"
I got it covered.
Okay. So I want to tell you about another movie that I've seen, and I saw that I
Yeah.
think Vex Electronica, she wrote a post. I only saw this after I posted my review. I felt a little bad. She wrote in her post that suddenly came up in my feed that's like, this is such a great movie. It's such a great movie. I had just uploaded a video that I'm like taking a dump on.
What's the film?
It's called, let me see if I can find it. It's called Together. Did you hear about it?
Oh, that one where they stick together, they kiss and their faces stuck together and their hands stuck together. I saw the trailer.
Yes.
Um,
So
so yeah.
basically, the trailer made it seem like it would be possibly interesting, And you know how you told me about the you saw the assassin and there was the guy crying?
Yeah, yeah.
I had a similar experience watching this movie. Now, for anybody here in the chat, I'm going to try. It's really hard for me not to. I'll try not to spoil. I won't say anything beyond what we already see in the trailer. Okay, uh, which is everything. Basically, if you see the trailer, it's like you don't need to see the movie, in my opinion. But whatever. Uh, the movie starts off, and the guy. There's a guy and a girl, and they're a real life married couple, Alison Brie and Dave Franco, who's James Franco's brother. In any case, they're in a relationship in the movie, and he's sort of this musician guy, but he has some kind of trauma because something happened, I don't know what, but because of his trauma he's a loser. His girlfriend does everything. He's just like dead weight, whereas everything she supports them financially, she's the best, and he's some idiot. And immediately you have like a friend telling her, why do you even stay with him, he's such a loser, like you're so great and he's such a loser. And that's the vibe you immediately get. And in one of those early scenes, she proposes to marriage to him in front of everybody, which is so weird. I mean, it annoys the character in the movie for about a second, but this whole setup of he's a loser and she's proposing to him in front of their friends, it doesn't really help me enjoy getting into this movie. Do you get what I'm saying, Ian?
Yeah. In other words, it's kind of woke.
It feels woke, like you have like the credits barely rolled and it's already like an attack of woke, in my opinion.
Exactly. Exactly.
N-
This is what
now
they're doing, though. That's the thing. Sorry,
now
carry
I'm,
on.
I'm not saying that there can't be a situation, and maybe in the past, Ian, people like us, we saw a movie and maybe one movie shows that the guy's kind of a loser. It's possible, but I think that now that every movie is the guy is the loser, at the
Yes.
end it, it just becomes annoying. It's like my patience is very thin for it.
I
I
mean,
don't know if that's
even
how you feel.
no, exactly. Even I was watching Dexter, right? Because I'm a huge fan of Dexter, and they brought it back. And there's this scene in it where the girl who plays Jessica Jones, she's in it, right? So there's a scene
Okay.
where they're bowling, okay, and then Dexter has a strike, and he goes follow that up, and she throws the ball, and there was two pins left, and he was like gloating. He was saying, well, get out of that then. And you knew immediately when he said get out of that, she was going to do it because that's what they do in Hollywood. They make the men look stupid, no matter even if the man is the lead in the film. It's always the woman that always upstage the man in little things and sometimes big things. So it's rife in everything now, and I can't unsee it, unfortunately. I really can't. That's why I keep gravitating towards the old films because it was more balanced. You know, Ripley never ever slagged anyone off unless they deserved it in Aliens.
Yep.
What is it?
Right.
Who's the guy that was double crossed them? She
Paul
had every
Reiser.
right. Yeah, she had every right to slam him up against the wall and tell him what for. You know what
What's
I
his
mean?
name? What's his name? Paul Reiser in the movie. That's the guy that betrayed them, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember his name
Oh,
either. My brain's so
It's the
fried.
the actor is Paul Reiser. That's what I know.
Yeah. It's not Hudson. Hudson's what's his name? Anybody in the chat can remember his name?
it's
uh,
is it Burke? Is that his
Oh,
Bert.
name?
That's it,
Burke.
Bert.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Bert.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have an actor that's so much that actor that I
Mm,
can't even think of the name of
He's
his
just
role.
he's just Paul Reiser. It's
yeah.
Right. Any movie that you describe, you're probably not going to remember what his character's name is. You just remember that Paul Reiser was there.
Even, I mean, talking of Paul Reiser, even when you watch the new Axel Foley movie, Eddie Murphy's daughter in the film, she kind of slags him off as well. And when I was watching, I was thinking, this is the star. This is Axel Foley
Oh,
here.
totally. It's totally woke, Beverly Hills Cop 4. That is totally has all the messaging in it. And it's not a
Yeah.
good movie. It's not well written. There was very little to like about that movie. It really disappointed me.
Do you
But
know what? Do you know what? Right,
yes.
that equates Fantastic Four because, like, I saw Beverly Hills Cop 4 in a packed cinema. Was a special screening that BAFTA put on, and everyone laughed at every joke, and I laughed at every joke, and I enjoyed watching it in the cinema. Then I decided to watch it on Netflix, And then I was disgusted when I watched it the second time around because the audience, do you know what I mean? The audience kind of pushed me towards ignoring what's really there. And then when you're not with an audience, you're watching it on your own, you see it more clearly. And it's the same thing with Fantastic Four, isn't it? The first time I saw it, I was like, it's okay. I did recognize that the two girls saved it at the end. Second time I saw it with my sister, I got angry. So again, they're not making films for us. They pretend they're making it for us, but they're not. They're just making it for themselves. That's what I think. Anyway, carry on, guys.
No, I agree with what you're saying. And sometimes you
Yep.
have why do
Yeah.
they do all these kind of premieres and things like that? They want to get everybody together. They sometimes serve alcohol and do things like that, and they wine and dine these influencers. And then it's like this big event, and you have the stars there. Once everybody is around, you're already going to be a little more favorable.
Yeah,
You don't feel as good walking out and saying, you know what, as you would say, this is shit. Like most people are going to go out and say, well, they were nice enough to give me all this champagne and fly me out here. Maybe it's not so bad, And also, they want to be flown out again. That's how
yeah.
this entire industry went down the drain with the way this whole system was rigged. But Caleb Levine says his trauma is being James Franco's brother. Yes, maybe. James Franco, you never see that guy anymore. Like, he's done.
No, he's done. Yeah, he's been
But he,
blacklisted, isn't he? Yeah, he's been
but
blacklisted.
he is married to Allison Brie. So
No, Dave Franco is not James, though.
that's what I'm saying. Dave
Yes.
is
No,
that,
that's
that
his big. Oh, maybe that cancels out the trauma because
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I actually think that like he kind of is punching above his belt with Allison Brie. Allison Brie
Yeah.
is pretty cool, whereas I think that he's not as cool. But what do I know? And regarding James Franco, I'm going to say something controversial here. I think that James Franco is a douche, and what he did is very douchey. It's manipulative and douchey and has a sleazy vibe to it. And with all of that being said, I would stop short of saying that what he did was illegal. He's just kind of a jerk. And the question is, if you're a jerk, you deserve to be canceled? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I think also that the ladies that were involved in whatever lawsuit, they were very much there to capitalize on a certain movement
All of
and
them were, yeah.
and get money out of it.
Mhm.
I saw interviews with them. I saw how they acted. This was a money situation where they wanted money. Now, the only thing that I can say about James Franco, which makes him not only a douche and sleazy, but an idiot, an absolute idiot. Maybe if you were in the 50s or 60s, you could get away with what he did. He started off, he was basically hitting 40 or 40 in his 40s. And he said to himself, well, where are all these young ladies that used to like hanging out with me? These kind of 18, 19, 20-year-old ladies. Where are they? Or maybe it wasn't as easy for him to interact with them. So he created a system, seemingly allegedly, here at Price of Reason Studios. I don't know what I'm talking about. He created a school where he teaches young ladies acting. And then he
Mhm.
created a course called Sex with Dave Franco. Sorry, Sex Scenes with Dave Franco, with James Franco. Now, what Sex Scenes with James Franco is that ladies show up and he teaches you how to do sex scenes and he demonstrates together with you how to do the sex scenes. Now, all these young ladies signed up for it. And if I remember correctly, they also signed documents that basically say that he's in charge. They're agreeing to be in this course. He can bring out cameras and film it, all this different stuff. And they signed for everything, if I remember correctly. Then the whole Me Too movement, everything blows up. And they said, well, now we're going to sue you because you used your celebrity to manipulate us. And that's really the reason why he ended up paying them. Not because, in my opinion, he did something wrong necessarily. It's morally wrong, but it's not necessarily legally wrong. Because, if you start a course called Sex Scenes, if tomorrow Mega Geek, if Ian, you start a course saying Sex Scenes with Ian, and all these ladies sign all these documents that give you all the rights to everything, and they're sitting around there and you're doing sex scenes with them, they can complain all they want. But the truth is they literally signed up for it. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the thing is, though, it's bad for men to do that. But yet you've got these women on, was it sleeping with 100 men on that platform? What's that platform called?
Only
You know the one I
fans.
mean.
OnlyFans,
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Yeah, you got that. You know what I mean? That's kind of equivalent to what James Franco did, but James Franco was pretending. that it's just him teaching.
I
But
mean,
it's
James
not.
Franco is an asshole. That is a dick asshole move, okay? There's no way you can tell me that he's not a slippery asshole. But I still don't know if if slippery asshole, does that mean that your life has to be over? Elizabeth Quinn saying this is crazy, crazy, stupid girls. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these girls, another thing that happened, and this is his stupidity, with all these courses that he would teach or whatever he did, a lot of these ladies, like he started entering actual relationships. There was some that he dated, or I don't know if it was more casual, what happened there. And I think that a lot of these ladies, he didn't say, it's not like a Harvey W situation, but they had hoped that if they're kind of in the circle of James Franco, then eventually it'll help their career. And when they saw that at the end, he was James Franco, he has all the money, they're sleeping with him, and he's walking around with a stupid smile on his face, and they're not benefiting really from it. That's when they started getting upset and saying, well, we didn't really get anything of it. We thought we would be big stars. But that's not only on him. You can't, even 18, 19, 20-year-old girls have a responsibility to not be idiots. You know what I'm saying?
Not in Hollywood. Not in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Women seem to get a pass for everything that they do now.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
weird.
much. Pretty
I
much.
mean, let's reverse the roles, okay? If we're in our 20s now, and there's I don't know, Sydney Sweeney does a chorus sex
I'll
scenes
be
with
there.
that chorus is gonna the amount of people that are gonna sign up for this chorus is something insane, you know. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
also a double standard. Every
Yep.
guy is signing it. There's all this legal stuff. She can use the footage. She can't use the footage. I don't know what you're signing everything, and you're in the course.
Yep.
I'm imagining myself at 20. As much as when you're 20, you can say, "Well, I'm a dumb kid." There's no way that at 20 years old I wouldn't understand what it is that I'm doing.
That's
I
true.
understand what that course is. I would understand that I'm signing up for it, and if it said certain things on a piece of paper that I signed, I would understand what that meant. I don't think that I would just say yes to everything and then later say, "Well, she really pulled a fast one on me, Sydney Sweeney."
You got to be careful these days, especially when you're in New York and LA. I'll give you an example, right? I've made a lot of corporate videos, and there was this one corporate video that I made. And seriously, this may sound like I'm a stud, but I'm not, tell you the truth. You've seen what I look like. There was this girl that came on to me, and she was 25, and everybody knows how old I am. And she was really coming on to me strong. And I literally had to say to her, look, kind of step back. And then she said to me, let's get together. And I said, no. And then she said to me, why? And I said, because I'm old enough to be your dad. And then she said to me, why would you deny yourself if we really got together? 10 years of fun, possibly 10 years of fun. Why would you deny yourself that? You know, even if I do leave you, why would you deny yourself 10 years, even 5 years, even 1 year of fun with me? Do you know what I mean? And I thought about it and I thought maybe she's right. But then again, I thought, no, because of the way the world is now, you'd get crucified.
Right. In
So
the late 60s or maybe in the 70s, you could have gotten
yeah,
away with that. But
yeah,
now at this point of time, like you better steer away from everything.
absolutely.
And
Oh,
I think
jeez.
And
Yeah.
I think that that was James Franco's biggest mistake is that he didn't understand that the tide was turning. That in the late, I don't know if it's 2015 or whenever at that school, you cannot do that. Is the worst year that he ever could have chosen to open a school where he teaches young actresses how to do sex scenes or whatever that school was.
Mm.
It's
It's funny,
seemingly
right? Sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
go on.
Go on.
No,
Go
no,
on.
you go on. I didn't have anything.
No, it's just that it's funny. It's funny that the stories that you hear that's been legendary about things. Sometimes you find out they're not true. Um, you're right. These people were lining up just to make money, and they were trying to make out that everything was bad. Like I remember Joan Collins was on a TV show over here, and she was talking about those days. She said that she went for an audition once, and the producer was waiting for her in the hotel room. She went in there, and he was in the bathtub. He was in the bathtub, and he said to her, "Take your clothes off and join me." And she was like, "Fuck you," and she left. She left. Obviously, that's what I'm saying. That's how it was in those days. But she also said that, right? It's kind of bad that this Me Too thing is happening because in those days there were more actresses that would do that than they wasn't because they understood the system. They understood the only way to go forward is to do this stuff with these men, and they gladly did it. It's not like they didn't want to do it. They gladly, especially if the producer was quite good looking, they'd gladly do it to move forward. But you don't get any mention of that when it comes to the cases or anything like that.
No, you don't get you don't hear that, and I agree with you 100%. Back in the day, I
Mhm.
lived like in the East Village, and there were a lot of ladies in their 20s that were, aspiring actresses that lived there, and I knew some of them here and there, the ones that even went to those fancy schools or whatever it is. There were a few occasions that either I witnessed this myself or even just heard in a conversation what you're describing. Meaning, I heard some lady saying, and there was nothing wrong with her. She was nice, but she was basically saying, "Yeah, this producer he wants me to go out to dinner with him and this and that," and she was implying that probably he wants something from her. And during this conversation, it was my understanding that if this guy wanted something from her, she didn't seem like she was completely against the idea, especially if she thought that she would advance from this in some way. She didn't seem all repelled by it. It seemed like a calculated decision that she seemingly was okay with. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, I'm not saying that every woman was okay with it, and I'm not saying that every producer did that. And there's no black and white. There's always shades of gray and things like that. But I'm saying that definitely when all that Me Too stuff happened, a lot of the kind of stuff that happened in this industry that was more of a gray area was certainly not discussed. A new narrative was crafted. The women are always great, the men are always bad, and that's
mm.
100% the way it is. And it's based on what I've seen, that's not representative of what I've seen. If you know what I'm trying
But
to say.
yeah, look at the example, right? Badfoot just brought up Leslie Headland, right? When you met her, she looked like a woman, right? And she was going to, if this is the case, think about it carefully. She was going totally against her nature if she was gay. That she was she was trying to look like, a gorgeous woman that will move up in the ranks in the Weinstein organization.
I would think
So
so. That's what it seemed
yeah,
like.
yeah. So it does happen, and women do accept it, and they do move forward that way. Do you know what I mean? So there were a lot of people that was accepting it, but you never, Terry Crews, the big black guy that's in
Some guy put his hands
Yes.
on him or something.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, but that's never mentioned in the same breath as some of the women that got abused. Do you know what I mean? That's just that's just that's just unbalanced. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I remember my friend told me that he was sharing a cab with. Oh God, I shouldn't say this because I'll get sued, won't I? But like a big star in the '80s, he was sharing a cab. He's an actor, and this guy, they were talking. All of a sudden, he put his hand on his thigh for no reason. You know what I mean? He just kept it there. God, that must be awful if you're sitting in a limousine with a huge star and he does that and he's looking into your eyes and you're not gay. So these things were going on in those days. But then again, it skews all towards the women more so than the men. But a lot of men got abused, like Terry Crews. He was brave enough to actually mention it, wasn't he? So
I
yeah,
also, I was telling the story of Mariah Carey. I don't know if you were listening at that point when we had the show, but she located who the executive is that she needs to be with. She became his girlfriend, and he was one of the top executives at Sony. She became the highest priority for Sony. And I was
yeah,
explaining, and of course, this is allegedly. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I take no responsibility. It's a joke what I said, but that was the rumor that I heard. And should that be the case, it seems a lot more calculated on her end. And I think that in the era of that whole Me Too movement, a lot of these type of stories where a woman says, "Hey, you know what? I look good. Maybe I'm gonna, do a few things here and position myself where I need to." And there were certainly ladies that did that, and I'm sure that there's also men that, maybe there was a female casting director there somewhere, and maybe a man thought that there was something that they could do to advance themselves. I don't think I think that, like I said, there's and you like what you said about Terry Crews, there's a gray area. And the final thing is that I think that for many years, a lot of these industry events, especially before the internet and email and stuff like that, there would be a lot of parties where people were doing
Yeah.
a lot of recreational activities, if you know what I'm saying, and
Mm.
drinking. And there was an atmosphere of like a lot of parties and a lot of hooking up and a lot of different things. And I've witnessed at least something of that. I mean, I'm not like the toast of the town or the toast of Hollywood, and also, maybe in those 70s and 80s year it was even crazier. But I still think that somewhere in the 90s it existed, in the 2000s or things like that. And yeah, I mean, once that Me Too thing came out, it's like they tried to rewrite and re-explain everything that happened until that day. And I'm not saying that it never happened that women were taken advantage of, and maybe sometimes men even, but I'm saying that the narrative didn't fit in many cases what actually happened, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation that they were in those days, but also it's a horrible situation now because it's unbalanced now. Everything that I see, from adverts to TV to new TV shows to don't even talk to me about Doctor Who. It's either gay stuff or women, powerful women. It's very rare that I've seen an old white guy as a a commissioner of a police force now. It's always a woman, and maybe it's a woman of color. Do you know what I mean? Even in the latest Naked Gun, I think his boss is a black woman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well, I mean,
it's still
I,
filtering.
to be fair, the lady in the Naked Gun, she's actually a good veteran actress, and she's good. And the other
Mm.
thing is, it's like it's not that you can't have like a lady that's I also don't like the idea that you can't cast anybody in any role. I didn't feel like the movie Naked Gun was woke or anything. Even in the original movie, you had a woman who was his boss. So in this
Yeah,
case, it
it
was a
was a white
woman.
woman.
It was a white woman. It's not such a big deal. I mean, the truth
No,
is,
it's not.
they couldn't include like O.J. Simpson's son, so maybe if
Yes.
maybe they kind of combined. If you understand what I'm trying to say, that this was
Mm.
their way of sort of having a person of that
Yeah.
background, but also a woman. I assume that somebody made a decision like that, but you know what? The actress is good. CCH Pounder is a good actress, so it's not
Mm.
like they brought some like What I don't like is when they bring a bad actress that doesn't suit the role at all. I thought she was fine in the role. I didn't have an issue with her whatsoever.
Like, what is
Didn't
it? What's that film? It was a Christmas film. It was like Die Hard, but it was in an airport, and they had that little woman, little black woman, that she was in the police. She was oh God, what was
yes,
it called? Carry On, Carry On. That
carry
was
on.
what
Yeah.
Carry on. Yeah.
that woman. It was like she was so miscast in that role. It was ridiculous, and you know why she's there. It's because of DEI. You know why she's there. So
Yeah.
it's not going to stop soon, put it that way. And they're going to try and disguise it. They're going to try and repackage it and try and disguise it. As I said, look at Fantastic Four. A lot of normies look at it and they think, oh, it's great. But I keep asking the question, why didn't Mr. Fantastic wrap itself around Galactus? Why didn't Johnny Storm fire fireballs at him? Why didn't the Thing push him? Why wasn't it a collective effort to get rid of
It was absolutely
Galactus?
a agenda-driven girl boss
Yeah.
adventure, and the thing is that it wasn't that even the whole movie was good until that point, and then it was that. It was all boring throughout the whole movie, and then at the end it stunk as well. Granola Grin says Price of Reason was a stand-in sex double in Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut orgy scenes. You're on to me.
They're
Yep.
on to you, mate.
We can maybe we could reproduce that with Grok Imagine. Right?
By the way, I want to
That was
quickly just explain what I thought of this Together movie, and then you guys can
Go
continue
on, eh?
whatever you were
Go on.
saying.
yeah.
Uh, no, it's fine. In this show, we have no structure. Just whatever happens, happens. But I'll just say that immediately right out the gate, the guy is a complete loser. And then, in order to turn a new leaf in their relationship, they go to some rural area, and then they walk around in the forest, and then one day they fall into a cave or something. This is all in the trailer, so I don't feel bad saying it. And of course, when they leave, gradually there's something that's trying to connect them, that their bodies are going to stick together. There's like some
Mm.
weird thing going on. And then there's quote unquote a twist that I saw coming from 70 miles away towards the end. And the bottom line in this, without spoiling the final details here, the fact that they're stuck together and they would somehow be one person, I am telling you that by the time this movie ends, there is a clear kind of transformer propaganda pronoun thing.
Of
Do you get
course,
what I'm saying?
of course. It was obvious from the actual idea, the concept of the thing. That's what it was to me, anyway.
And
So I'm not surprised.
I made a video, and I sound like you. I said it was woke, and I think that Vex Electronica was like, "No, you're totally off base here. You're wrong." But without spoiling, but if I actually went into the details, there was one thing where there was like an LG character, and there's something else that happens at the end that kind of suggests that this is very much leaning into this idea of like of a transformer situation. Now,
Mm.
is it 100% blunt and aggressive in a way that they say it? They don't say it, but I think that we've seen enough crap over the past several years that I have a radar at this point, and when I see it, I know loser guy, loser man. There's also one point where like he says, I don't drive, only she drives. He's stuck in the house. She goes to work, she makes money, she does everything the household. And then you know what the only thing he does is?
What?
He cooks. I
like the
swear this happens in the movie.
like the thing in
Huh?
Fantastic Four.
Right, he's like the thing. The thing is like making sauces and stuff. I don't. That's the. They also started this with Star Trek's Strange New
Yes,
Worlds.
yes,
He has to
yes.
sit. Pike has to sit in the kitchen and make souffles all day. I hate that stuff. This is not a coincidence. Anytime you see a movie and it's said that the guy is like a loser, is just a dumb, stupid guy that doesn't do anything, and the only thing he can do is cook while his wife does everything, you know
Mm.
that movie is woke. It,
It's been touched by woke.
it's
Yeah,
yes. And that's why, Vex Electronica, maybe there was something she liked about it, but forget
Yeah.
about all the wokeness. The thing is that if you see the trailer and you know what's happening to them, the first
yeah.
hour of the movie, they're like, "Oh, what's happening to us? What's happening to us?" And I'm like, "Didn't you see the poster? Didn't you see the trailer for the movie?" If I'm 20 steps ahead of them throughout the first hour, then why am I even watching it? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it's obvious. When I saw the trailer, it was obvious it was a what do you call that word? Allergy? Not allergy. What am I talking about?
Allegory,
Allegory.
Allegory
It's an
to
allergy
the.
too. Yes.
It is. It's basically that's what it's saying. It's all about the trans rubbish, isn't it? It's obvious that's what it is. And I wonder who wrote this. I wonder if that person is a they them or whatever. I don't know, but
No,
it's
he's
obvious what
not,
they're
but he's
doing.
getting sued. This is the
Is he?
strangest story. There's a writer-director that wrote this, and he makes it seem like when he was interviewed, he made it seem like he wasn't a they them or anything like that. That he's kind of straight by the book, whatever it is. But
Mm.
they asked him something about it, and he played coy. That's why I said that in my review, that I think Vex didn't agree with me, that he's playing coy, because he said, "Oh, if people thought that this had anything to do with the Transformers, it's accidental. I can't believe it. People think this is Transformers." And then they ask him, "Well, wait, you made this character gay?" And he's like, "Of course, it was important for me to show that like a character can just be gay and this and that." So you want to tell me that on one hand, it was important for him to do all this, stuff that has to do with the gay character, but it never occurred to him that the other thing would be interpreted as the Transformers. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Once he
yeah.
said the first half of the sentence, I knew the second half was bullshit. He probably figured he'll steer away from controversy, but in my opinion, it's 100% that. And even if let's say it wasn't, the movie still bores me for the first hour. So
But you know what though? I understand why he won't see it. I can give you another example, okay, right? And I'm not trying to push my wares here. I just thought I'd bring it up. There was a bit in the script where Rebecca's talking to
push away,
Charles.
man. If you aren't subscribed to Ian, you should absolutely, whoever's listening to this,
Right.
you should subscribe to his channel. He's doing really cool stuff. We talk about all this stuff that we don't like. And Ian himself, he actually went out, he produces stuff, he puts things online that he himself made. That he's doing more than any of us sitting around here and complaining. So if there's anything, if you guys have not subscribed to his channel, you should do it. You should check out his videos. And I'm not just saying that as some kind of like infomercial. I actually have watched everything that he's posted of that Rebecca Gold thing, and I really enjoyed his work. and I am looking forward to seeing this upcoming season. I watched every video because the first
Oh,
season
that's
was
nice.
across a number of
Yeah,
videos, and then you had this
yeah.
kind of prologue, epilogue, whatever the fuck that was. I watched that too.
Uh,
Sorry, Sean. And everything that you posted about this thing, I've watched on your channel, and I've enjoyed it. And that's why I'm saying that if you guys haven't done that, you should do it. I get nothing out of
Thank
it.
you.
I could lie to you,
Absolutely.
and I'm not
Yeah.
lying. Like I
Yeah.
really did enjoy it, and I think I then told you that I enjoyed it.
I was just saying that there was a line in the script where one of the girls says to Rebecca, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And Rebecca is about to answer, and she says, "Oh no, sorry, are you a they? Are you a them? It's so complicated these days. You don't know what people are." The girl says that to Rebecca, and there was a line in the script where Rebecca said, "There's no such thing. It's just male and female." But the actress didn't want to say that because she didn't want to get in trouble, and that illustrates what you were talking about that guy. If that guy really was a transformer or a they them, or he didn't he today, it's really bad to get dragged into that conversation. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're blatant about it, you'll get attacked by all sides. So I understand why if he wouldn't say anything, or if he was alluding to that in the film, he wouldn't say anything.
Oh, he
Anyway, that was
doesn't
my
wanna do
point.
no Bud Light. He said, "Of course I would." Me? Well, he made it seem it's so accidental. I love that people have so many interpretations for that movie, but I don't think if the guy was heroic the whole time and he was like this
Yeah,
alpha male, and at the end this happened, I'd say, "Well, maybe whatever," but when you watch this movie and you see what I saw, I don't think there's any other conclusion you can arrive to aside from the one that I did. And like I said, there's a rule of thumb in 99% of the cases, when you feel like there's an agenda, the movie itself also is subpar. Do you get what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's rare that you walk into something and it has an agenda, but yet it's really well made. Like, I'll give you an example. Squid Games, the first season at least,
Oh, please. Yeah.
some people could claim that it's communist propaganda, but you know
Mm,
what? It's made really well. So that first season of Squid Games, I really enjoyed it. Now,
mm,
somebody could say, "But didn't you see that there was communism?" You know what? I don't care. If I enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. But the thing
yeah.
is that usually, especially with these Americans and these American creators or whatever, even though I think the guy that made Together was Australian, something like that, but they're kind of woke and weird these days also. So usually, when it comes to at least the Hollywood system, when they do this, it's usually a person at the end is more of an activist and less of a filmmaker. Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. 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 Totally. Again, right. I hate using this word woke, but it is. Most of the shows that are on TV is completely and utterly woke. As I said, right. Sometimes it's subtle. It's not fair to actually have one side all the time to be soft and pathetic. And it's usually the white man all the time. It's about the white man being pathetic and slow and just not as good as the woman, especially a woman of color. It's what is that teaching our young kids, our young male kids? What is that saying for them? Do you know what I mean? You know where it really stopped? It stopped in the 50s. Because if you look at the films beyond the 50s, right? All men were men, John Wayne. Do you remember that? I don't know
Absolutely.
if you ever saw that scene in the Cowboys where he asks that kid, "Can you swim?" And the kid says no. And he picks him up and throws him in the water. And he's just like, and he learns how to swim there. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
and, what is it? Gone with the Wind, Frankly Scarlet, I Don't Give a Damn. Do you know what I mean? He was like, he would
Yeah.
put up with that nonsense from that woman. But then everything changed in the 50s because the teenagers kind of was more prevalent. That's when the word teenager turned up in the 50s, isn't it? And then I think the 80s it got worse because you had all those stoner films where basically men didn't have any responsibilities, but they were stoners, and yet they got the woman. Like Stripes, for instance, was it Bill Murray? He's a complete arsehole all the way through it. All the way through it. He doesn't change. He's just an ass all the way through it. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and then it started, developing from there. And then what we've ended up with now is the worst case scenario where all men, especially all white men, are all stupid. So that's basically where it started, really. So anyway, I digress. So
I
yeah,
mean, I think that if you were part of a studio, like if you had a lot of money to spend on actors, I think this actress should have done what you tell her to do. It's kind of annoying that she won't say, "You wrote it. That's how the character is." Why
no, well,
I understand,
no,
but you understand what I'm saying too.
yeah, I do. But the thing is, though, you have look. There's especially when you're making a low budget film. Okay,
Of
right?
course, I
You have to
understand your
find, yeah, you
situation.
have to find the balance, right? She's not under contract, and plus, you have to respect. She's an actress as well. She doesn't want to be seen in a bad light, so you have to respect it. So, it, with low budget films, all the way through, right? You have to compromise right across the board, from what you're shooting to the actors to everything. If they were under contract and it was a Hollywood system, I would insist, right? There are certain times when I insisted things. Like I give you another example, right? I'd say to them, please read this, do the script verbatim. And they would say, okay. And then we'd roll and they'll miss things. And I'd say to them, it's not what's on the script. And he goes, but they'll say to me, no, but it means the same thing. I'm like, you don't understand, right? That dialogue it connects to another piece of dialogue. If you get that dialogue wrong, the other piece doesn't connect. And I give you an example, right? There's a sequence where a girl says to Rebecca, she says, this is how I sort things out, right? That's her reply. But before that reply, Rebecca's meant to say, can you sit down? Let's sit down and sort this out. Therefore, her reply is, this is how I sort things out, right? But she doesn't say that. She says, why don't you sit down and let's talk about it? Instead of saying what's verbatim in the script. And I didn't notice that when we're shooting it. Then I'm in the editing room. I'm like, oh, bollocks. That line doesn't make any, well, it does connect, but it doesn't connect properly, if you know what I mean. So the thing is, when you're making a low budget script, you have to compromise always. As I said, if it was a Hollywood system and everybody's under contract, yeah, you have every right to say what's on the script, please. Say what's on the script. Do what I say to you. But I'm not in that position, so you kind of have to let it go, if you know what I mean. So anyway, whatever. Yeah.
No, I understand. And listen, I also I totally get it. When you have a low budget production, you don't have a lot of say in much of what you do. Back in the day when I studied film, there were a few things that I did that I put together some small production and filmed, and you're really relying on these people because
Yep.
I really didn't have I don't even think I had any money to pay anybody, and a lot of people are just doing favors for you, and maybe it helps with their reel, and maybe you send it to some festival and somebody shows it somewhere, and then it appears on IMDb. So it's worth it for some people to be involved in it, but it's really a beggars can't be choosers situation.
Yeah.
You can't come in dick swinging, that you can't do that, or else you're going to lose it, and you need the support of other people. So I'm not saying that what you did wasn't the right thing. I was just saying that
Mm.
I'm separating myself from you. If I'm now with a big budget, okay, has nothing to do with your production. If you give me now a big budget and I have like, let's say, big, I mean, even for me, like $1 million would be big, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything really, $10 million, a million, a few $1 million, whoever I hire, I don't care who that person is. If there's a script, that's the script. But if I'm
Mm.
like begging and I need people to do favors, I have to listen to what they're saying. I
Yeah.
can't boss them around like that.
But also, you can't boss around someone that the film is relying on. Like if you had Bruce Willis and Bruce Willis disagreed with a line in the script, you got to find another compromise as well, because you can't argue with someone like Bruce Willis because he's carrying the film. So you kind of got to. I've learned that a long time ago, right? If I'm directing somebody else's material, I'll put my opinion forward, and if they disagree, it's up to them. I just do exactly what they want me to do. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm hired gun on that. But if it's my material, then yeah, I try to push for what I want. Because again, right? It's not about I'm not in the Hollywood system. It's not about reputation, and it's not about trying to get work because there is no work. So I just do what I have to do to survive.
Of course,
Um,
the AI did a really good job with your picture.
Apart from my headphones, you can still see the background.
Ah, I see. Yeah, you're right. I
Yeah, apart from that, but it's okay though. It's really good. Yeah, AI has its place as well. I know Justin Bateman was saying you can't. She has a festival, doesn't she? You can't enter the festival if you use AI. And I sent her a message saying, what if you just used AI to extend a set? Like if you're low budget to extend a set, is that acceptable? She went, no. So I was like, okay. So, she's, I, as I said, AI, like digital was made for poor people, right? AI is definitely there to help the poor
Yep.
filmmakers, definitely.
Well,
But yeah. Oh yeah.
speaking of AI, our last subject tonight was going to be talking about Grok Imagine. So this is literally, I just had an action figure. I set it on my shelf over here, and I took a picture, and I asked Grok Imagine to make the action figure dance.
Wow.
And so it did this on its own. This little 15-second
Do we all have
video,
a
or no, it
Grok
was
Imagine at this
6-second.
point?
If you have the Grok app on your phone and you do have a subscription to X,
Yeah, it's
if
on
you have
X, isn't
your
it?
some X, some
It's
level of
only
X,
on the phone. It's not on the
it's not
laptop.
on it's only on the phone right now. Yeah, you have to have the Grok app on the phone. So, and you can upload a picture and you can ask it to do stuff. So, I mean, seriously, Ian, like, what do you see like this doing to filmmaking in the next few years?
Well, no, I see it right. So, for instance, okay, it's only a matter of time before the big Hollywood systems are going to log into AI, especially if it gets easier, and then suddenly all the special effects people are out of business, and they're prompting things, like I want a spaceship to fly, whatever. It will happen, and Hollywood will embrace it, and then all those jobs are going to disappear. But right, again, right, I think it's a godsend for low budget filmmakers because, as I said, in Rebecca Girl, I've extended some of my sets with AI. So it looked like a
Yeah.
bedroom scene looks bigger and stuff like that. It does help from time to time, but as I said, right, I think it's going to be hard for the special effects community to go forward, and Hollywood is losing money left, right, and center. There's no way they're not going to use it. They've already used it in the Coca-Cola advert they did last Christmas. Posters, we know they've used AI to create posters for movies, and people who create posters now are out of a job because they can just easily prompt something. You know what? They'll spend money on people prompting it because there's a lot of people out there that can prompt properly and get exactly what they want. And I'll spend money hiring people like that if it will cut costs with visual effects. So
Hmm.
that's what I reckon is going to happen in the future, that they're going to use it more and more. But they, people can make movies with AI. They can create people, but there's something about it that just at this moment in time that just doesn't work. It looks real, but it's not real, subconsciously. So I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to guess what's going to happen.
Yeah, people have been sharing a lot of different creations on X, and some of them are pretty astounding at how it's
Mm,
able to just take some, inanimate image, just an image, and then suddenly turn it into this active, moving thing. Of course, a lot of them, if you really nitpick it, you can see, oh yeah, there's weird stuff happening here, weird stuff happening
mm,
there. But it's very impressive. This guy literally, he said, this is a figurine I would have just thrown away, right?
mm.
I would never have bothered to animate this. But Grok Imagine just turned it into this character kind of
I,
dancing around.
I saw
Um,
I saw a video that somebody made via AI, and it was, imagine that the Avengers was made in the 70s, and it had Clint Eastwood as Wolverine, and it was really well done. And to a certain extent, everybody looked like the characters they were mentioning, right? The old actors in those days. But when it came to Julia Roberts, the AI had problems. So if she turned left, she didn't look like Julia Roberts. If she turned right, she didn't look like Julia Roberts. Do you know what I mean? So once all that stuff is ironed out, could you imagine? And once you can make clips longer than 5 minutes,
But
could you imagine what they
right
can do?
now,
Sorry,
when
go
I
ahead.
go into this thing, Imagine on my phone, it's not letting me upload a photo. It's showing me photos that I can do stuff with.
yeah, you can't take a photo, but you can give it photos. So if you go to the Grok app and then where it says at the bottom, type to imagine, there's also a little button on the left that will let you add your own picture from your
My
from your
sister.
photo library.
So my dad passed over. It's like coming up to about 20 years, and my sister did something on AI where she got a picture of dad, and she got a picture of Jesus, and then she made them hug, right? And on my phone,
Mhm.
and I showed it to my mum, and my mum cried. My mum cried. So do you know what I mean? I don't know what that means, but it means that maybe AI is that kind of stuff is closer than you think. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
someone was actually in a post I was reading earlier today, someone was actually likening it to the moving photographs in Harry Potter, the moving
Mm.
paintings that you could have.
Yeah.
Like if you see this one here, this is a guy who's saying he took a picture of his mother, one of his favorite pictures of his mother when she was
Mm,
younger, traveling on a boat, and put this picture up here, and it animated, it kind of brought it to life
mm,
for a few seconds. It's really fascinating stuff. Like here's Nikola Tesla, right? There's no video of Nikola Tesla, but here we have a moving image. So it's all of this stuff is fascinating to me, but at some point I kind of really wonder, like, how is this actually going to be something that's ever going to be valuable for filmmaking? Is it ever going to be consistent enough, and is
I,
it going to be something that's convincing enough that we can
I
really?
I think Dave Cullen said it best. He said that this is going to get prominent as the years go on, but it's going to force people to want authenticity in what
Absolutely.
they see. That's what it's going to do. It's going to force people because it'll get so real that you're going to want to know if it's made by AI. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of that might derail it in the end. Do you know? So I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, sometimes there's stuff that I've seen, created by some of these tools that is utterly realistic. It
Mm.
would be so impossible for me to say, "Oh no, that got made by AI." But then there's a lot of others that you kind of look at it and you're like, "Yeah,
But
they did that right."
you can get AI to do certain, like for instance, if you're making a big movie and you want to cut costs, um, you could you could shoot stuff and then you can get AI to say, right, okay, can you make a sunset here? And you can take that footage and manipulate it into the shot. So there are ways that they can work both hand in hand, where you get the artists on the After Effects and whatever systems they use combined with AI. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, do you ever watch the Corridor Crew, guys? Have you heard of the Corridor Crew?
Occasionally, yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah. So they showed this scene. It was from, I think it was from Dune or some film, where the whole city was being exploded, and they realized that the shot that was manipulated in that effect was real. They took it from, I think it was one of the war torn countries, that
Yeah,
a building got blown up, and they put it in the shot. And another thing, right? If you think that's bad, they discovered recently. You ever see Independence Day,
sure.
guys? You've seen Independence Day, right? So do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that scene in it where the ship comes down and it fires and it blows up the Statue of Liberty? You know, all the it just goes and it blows up. Do you remember that scene? Not the
Mhm.
Statue of Liberty, the building that King Kong was on. I can't remember what it's called, but do you remember that scene?
Yes,
Right?
the Emp
I
probably
was
the
all
Empire State Building, I
right.
think is what you're
You've
thinking,
bit
yeah.
so right at the very ending, the climax where the guy goes, fuck you, when he gets his ship and he goes in there and it blows the UFO up. Do you remember that scene as well at the ending?
Yep. Mhm.
All they did was take that shot of the Empire State Building and turned it upside down, stuck it to the UFO, and that's the scene that you see at the ending. Look at it. If you look at the
Yep,
film again, it's the same shot. It's the
yep.
same, and they literally
The
turned it
same the
around.
same explosion, they
The same
reused it,
explosion.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's quite a discovery, isn't it? Quite a
yeah.
discovery. So that's what I'm saying. So I think they're going to use AI to actually implement and help effects in the future. They're going to do little bits here and there, and it's going to bring the cost down. And the more advanced AI gets, the more people they're going to be dropping. I have a friend in Canada who was working for Disney. He was a head special effects guy. Now he's out of work. They shut that arm down in Vancouver. It's gone, and he's literally at home doing nothing, absolutely nothing. So as I'm saying, it's only going to get worse.
I have a question for Professor. I
Yeah.
tried going in on my phone. I don't have the three dots you mentioned. It's not letting me upload.
Oh
What
no,
kind
it's not. So yeah, if you go to uh if you go to Grok and you choose Imagine at the top.
what phone do you have? Maybe I just don't have a phone that.
I just have an iPhone.
Oh, I have an Android, and maybe
Well,
that's why it's not
it's
working.
supposed to be on the latest, but if you choose Imagine at the top and then at the bottom, it gives you some different options. It shows you a bunch of different pictures to choose from, but at the bottom it shows you it says type to Imagine, but then on the
Yes.
left there's a little sort of icon of a picture.
I mean, I could see them using it. Like, do you ever see those AI stuff where Superman is flying and he's doing a selfie of himself? Or there's this new one where
For me,
Supergirl,
I don't have it, Professor.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's not up to date yet or something. Yeah.
and there's this shot where Supergirl saves a girl, saves a boy from getting chopped up by a thing, whatever. When they take off, it looks so real. It's like they're flying. It's much better than what we see in the movies. So they are going to implement it together with visual effects of today. They really are. And that means less jobs for people. So there you go. I mean, look at that shot. That's amazing, right? To make that picture to come to life.
Yeah, just bringing that old family photo to life. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah. They can do that. Oh, hello.
But you could have somebody that could create a piece of art, and then you could
Mm.
very easily take that art and then animate it using
It's still kind of
AI.
shaky, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what this means for the porn industry, don't you?
Oh,
AI.
it's already there. I actually saw an article about this earlier today about talking about how there's suddenly a huge explosion in AI pornography.
Yeah, I know it's crazy,
It's
right?
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
fair idea.
But is it just me, or there's something about the motion that's not smooth?
Yeah, it's not perfect. I mean, this is their very first,
Mm.
some of their very first stuff that they've had, that they've
It
made public with this model. I'm sure it'll continue to be
it will get better though.
Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
The whole thing will get better, and you know what's scary is that you probably won't be able to distinguish between what's real and what isn't, and that's quite scary because that means you can manipulate stuff and for your own advantage, especially the governments and stuff. So it's just, how could you tell what's real and what isn't if AI is trying to do something really realistic? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
see people are saying good night, and it is
Yeah.
actually we're starting to get. We were having such a good time talking to you, Ian, that I think we didn't
That's all
notice
right.
that we were
That's
past
all right.
our.
Yeah.
No, but we sometimes we stay a bit longer, and we're happy that you were here, Professor. Is there anything you? First of all, of course, Ian, if there's anything
Mm.
you want to plug before we go, I
Um,
can once again let people have the
It's
link.
just it's the only thing I could say is just yeah, there's the Rebecca Gull channel. You can watch stuff on there. But and also sub if you don't mind. But also the film is coming out and it's probably gonna come out in the middle of October now because we're just waiting for the music to be done. I'm quite proud of it, but it is gonna get a lot of criticism, I think. But I don't mind criticism at all. I've done the best I can with the little money that I had.
You're not some big studio. You have very
No,
little to work with, and I
yeah.
really respect the fact that you did the previous work, had to deal with a lot of challenges that
Mm,
when you don't have this kind of budget, the kind of work you have to do is much harder
yeah.
sometimes than a person that has all these budgets. We were talking, and just to bring it full circle, when you came on board the stream, we were talking about that movie with the lady with the horses. That movie, one of the things that annoyed me the most is when I say to myself, people film this. I'm sitting in a theater and I'm watching it, and as you like to say, it's shit. And I'm thinking to myself, What a waste. What a waste, because somebody could have done
Yeah,
something normal, and
yeah,
this looks like a sham. Like, and then I see that they sit at these festivals, and all these ladies are telling these other ladies how great it is.
yeah.
You know, I understand it has an agenda that they like. It's not a good movie. And when I see people like you that you're actually trying to do something, and you know, need to conjure up money from here from there to somehow fund this yourself and do it, and then I see these annoying Sundance things that later I'm sitting in a theater and watching, I feel like there's a huge disconnect in Hollywood that should be supporting creators like you.
Let me tell you something, right? Just a little tiny story. When the first Rebecca Gold came out and he went to the festivals, there was one festival that it won best web series and best producer, right? And it was a women's festival. And they basically gave the award to Katie, who's the main star in it. And I kept emailing saying, Katie didn't produce it, it was me. And they kept ignoring my email. And the award had best producer Katie Sheridan. See, that's when it was literally coming into everything. So there you go. So
Yeah, that's kind of rotten.
yeah, it is a bit rotten, but you know, it's the way it goes.
On a plus side, I won't ever be able to share it with anybody what this is.
mm,
There's a rumor that perhaps sometime by the end of this year, there will be some kind of limited release to a movie, which I was one of the writers to its main theme, if you want to call it, or main theme song or something like that.
mm.
So I'm one of the writers for that song, and this movie will see a limited release apparently somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But when that
Oh,
happens, I won't be able to tell anybody, so I'll have to keep the information to myself. The good thing is that nobody's gonna watch the movie. It's gonna be one of those movies. It's gonna be like This Lady with the Horses, but even less than that. This Lady with the Horses, at least there's a few feminists that are gonna give her some award. The thing that I did the song for, we're never gonna hear about it. There's gonna
yeah.
it's gonna have one viewer somewhere. You know that
Well,
I'll just do
you
this.
can tell us in the green room.
No, it's okay. You know, at the end, if it comes out, I'll consider telling you. But for
All
now,
right.
until I've seen it on a screen, I'm gonna actually get a ticket and go watch it if this is actually gonna show up in anywhere. Just it's not even. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the movie.
Yeah,
It's a movie it's a certain style. I perhaps would have made a different type of movie, but I am happy that at least I contributed something to it. If you know
that's
what I'm
good.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but what I'm saying is, you know how sometimes you see a movie that later it says in like box office mojo or whatever that in its entire run it made like $120,
Mm,
like the whole
yeah.
box office.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably what's going to happen to this movie. But
Ah, well,
what do I know? If it even ever gets released, what do I know?
mm, exactly.
But on that very positive note, Professor, did you have something that you wanted to plug?
Oh, not much. We'll be back here on Thursday evening for the Night Owl once again. And then on Friday, it will be the 100th episode, 100th show for Adam and Babs over on B-Sides. We're going to be
Yeah,
watching a film and having fun, celebrating them, having a good evening. And I believe Price is going to join us for at least part
I
of that
am.
evening. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm going to join you.
yeah, yeah.
cool,
Fantastic.
And
cool.
I shared the link to Rebecca Gold again.
Oh, thanks.
You guys should be subscribed to Ian. Uh, like I said, we all talk about a lot of stuff, but it's important that somebody actually is trying to do something, and we should support him. And I really enjoyed what he did, so I'm looking forward to seeing this upcoming season, seeing what you do with it. Sorry, it's a movie now, not a season.
Yeah, it's been lobbed into a movie. So
Nothing wrong
yeah.
with that. Nothing. Hey, a movie is good. I think that's a good idea, and maybe it'll get
Yeah.
people to sit and commit and watch a whole movie, and they should definitely do that. And I guess let me just say goodbye to some people here.
Mm.
On the Rumble side, we have Hypno Crab, Folsom Lockdown, Depot 101, Tim Hayes, Phantom Monk, may contain traces of seafood, Kivo 1961, Senpai 76, Pure Blood Based Berserker, One Dirty Bird, thank you for the Rumble rant, Hypno Crab, B-roll stage, Darren Mai, Sal the Hamster, and XZYLL Sizzle. Do you have the people from
Sounds good
YouTube,
to me.
Professor?
I do, yes. We had FKHC 2005, Deeple 101, Marla Sharondoff, Anthony Shaddix, Tim Hayes, Mur Rockstro, Keely Chow, Caleb Levine, Super Mario Brothers 3, Robnod Scubla, Urkel DiStefano, E. Clay Thomason, Darren M., The Dead Man, IF New Dick, uh, Whalem O Whalem 03, Amelia Bedelia, Marks 47, Rebecca Gold. Oh, I wonder who that was.
Yeah.
Rob Altus, Stephen Mack, Pete Roble, Yitis, Tomahawk 511, Jason Webster, Sean Green, Lasher, Adam Gray, Mark D with a C, Phantom Outsider, Barbara Lawrence, Kaiwan Calendar, Piku, Empress NM, Gavin Blackburn, Ejecta Curtain, Davion Donaldson, Granola Grin, Jim Noxious, Badfoot, and I think that is it.
Awesome. And if you're watching and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel or followed, if you're on Rumble or if you're through the app and you haven't signed up, you should do all that stuff. And it's been a pleasure hanging out with you all. Now is Tuesday. We're going to see you on Thursday because we're always here Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:45 p.m. Eastern on the Night Owl. And thank you, of course, not only to Professor R2 for being the co-host as usual, but also to our guest Ian the Mega Geek for hanging out with us. And like I said, check out what he's doing with Rebecca Gold. Marla Sharondoff, you should check out with what Ian is doing. I hope you subscribed to his channel or at least checked it out. Hopefully you heard me and you didn't go to sleep yet. So you should definitely do that. I think you're going to like it, Marla. Anyhow, I guess let's wrap things up, right? We can.
Yeah, that's
I
it
know.
for this evening, guys.
Good
Thanks
night.
everyone for being here, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, whatever. Give us some interaction so we can, make sure we're getting credit for the views here. So thanks for being here, everybody. Have a great night.
Yeah, they say it's a good. It's good now to do interaction even after the stream.
Yeah.
Write a comment, do a like, because apparently this stuff really matters to YouTube now, and it'll help us in the big picture. So even if it seems annoying that you'll go suddenly and put some comment, you should totally do it and like. And on that wonderful note, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Ta-da. Ta-da.
Take care.